All right, man, let's get this going. You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
No countdown.
Going live in 3, 2, 1. Let's
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay Banks. It's been a couple weeks.
Hey.
We're back. It's Tuesday. What's cracking, AI?
What's up? What's up?
We're talking AI today.
We are talking AI today. I'm excited to do a little bit of talk about some tech, talk about some stuff coming out, and that's already out. So we're here in the future, and the future's now. So
yeah, man. And we've been trying to get you back on the podcast since you went down to the VCon down in Indy, bro.
Yeah, Indy VCon. Man.
Yeah, we made you a shirt to fly out there with, and that there it is right there.
Yeah, without further ado,
Chris Brock, everybody.
Hey.
Yeah, this is the shirt you guys made. Somewhere we can get that on the screen. We use a little bit of Mid-Journey, right? Like some AI in the creation of this, and then some of Jay Banks's just great skill set, but designed this shirt pretty much on the fly, right? So what did you do to build that? Like, what AI did you use? How did that work out, Jay?
So that was whatever AI thing you were using, man. I'm not good with. Yeah, I think it was Mid-Journey. I'm not good with that stuff, bro. Like you were trying to show me how to have Joe Rogan do my voicemail, and what was that? Telegram, was that the app that you can get the wording from and all that?
Well, John Mayer, like, he's in the group. He created Forever Voices.
Okay.
He created a really cool Telegram app that you could initially start with, like, purchasing access to so many credits that you could use, like, Steve Jobs' voice, or there were several, like 20 to choose from. And he's been able to, like, really create something that was like a growth hack using AI into a real business. I mean, he's been major broadcast news with his solution. And in fact, I think he made a solution for some of these social influencers that have essentially a following online of members that they've been able to use his platform to recreate and clone themselves. Right,
dope.
Right, with their voice, so people can have conversations with
there you go.
with people. But as far as it goes for your solution, we were using Mid-Journey. I think that's what I came in, and we made some Gary V imagery, and then you were able to design it up and print it on the fly.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so that's the thing. So you were able to pull up. You were choosing like I don't know what you were typing in. You were like Gary V astronaut. There was like a bunch of different crazy things that were popping up. But that was a logo that we chose, and just a little editing on my side. Doing the design work isn't tough for me anymore on this end, but doing like trying to figure out the Mid-Journey, like I'm still trying to figure out how to narrow that down and to get it where it's like, where it's putting out what you're putting in.
It makes sense too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, like, when you're putting the description on what you want, I've seen a lot of people like do like blooper versions of like what the AI did and put the person at the top of the image, and it just was all like goofy looking, but like AI spitting out, and it like Mid-Journey and these different tools are spitting out stuff and finding out what works best for your brand or your whatever project you're working on, because the tool is amazing. Like, that shirt looks phenomenal, and the fact is, like, it's like something you can wear on your body that's created by technology, and it's something that none of us are in control of, and it's doing it on its own. That idea of that, like I said, the future is now, and that was pretty amazing. Did you get any like feedback at VCon when you were sporting it?
Sure.
Yeah, man.
A couple people came up to me and asked like where I bought it at, for sure. So, and to make it like on the fly, I think that you have a really great system here that you can print shirts incredibly fast.
Yeah.
And this was like a good showing at VCon, and I thought that was awesome to have like our own custom brand. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But before we made a Starry Night of Cincinnati using Mid-Journey.
Yeah.
And I thought that was more of like a cool application of creating like a new art form, especially like when you talk about running a business, like you run a business here, plus creating and having new fashion. Like, I think it's a great blend to be able to use like an AI to create imagery that you could then print on the spot. And it enables someone like me that has no artistic talent at all to sort of contribute to the artistic process.
Right. I mean, what you're doing is definitely art, man, because, it takes a skill set to do it, right? So that's just one of those things where, like, you've really got to learn and tune into it to figure out, like, how to how to make sure that there's not a bird's beak on the back end of a person.
Yeah,
you know
like,
what I mean?
yeah, like I said, like things are just, it's our interpretation. It's our interpretation, and we're putting it into the computer. It's interpreting what we want. It's like, oh, it's a two-way street, because like, I mean, that's where it was taking me a while to originally understand with AI, because I'm like, does it take what we want to see, or is it just taking what it thinks is appropriate to what, you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
where are the rules, and how does it determine when it's feeding the image back to you? What are the rules it's following? Like, is it, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind
a great
of
question.
Yeah.
So when you think about AI, and this works for ChatGPT and it also works for Midjourney, it really comes down to prompts, right? Like they say this prompt engineering is the future. So really that means using the AI to output information or data or a picture that you seek.
Yeah.
And you got to be really good at describing what it is that you want the outcome to be. And it's really based upon your own intentionality. Like, what are you wanting to create? So let's say you want to create this starry night photo of downtown Cincinnati, and you want it in the styling of Pablo Picasso, right? Is that or Van Gogh? That was Van Gogh, obviously. So the AI is trained on all of the art stylings that you could look up in an art college textbook, right? So if you know stylings of art, or if you like graffiti art, it understands what graffiti art is. It understands what Banksy is, for sure.
Oh, wow.
So if you say, like, make this teddy bear in the style of Banksy, it's going to create one in a graffiti styling. And if it doesn't hit it the first time, maybe your sentence or your prompt was too short.
Okay.
So maybe you wanted more specific information. Sure. You know, maybe you wanted a purple bear that had a little bit of luminescence, like it's in the stars, and you want it as a certain artist. Like maybe you want it like pen and ink, or you want it pointillism. Mm-hmm. You could do that, and it understands those classification categories. So this is going to work for art. Name an artist or name a style of art. I want it like this style, and it's going to create that. If you want to do writing with ChatGPT, sort of same deal. Like you could say, I want this paper written like Ernest Hemingway, and it's going to write in very short sentences in a very definitive style. You could say John Steinbeck. You could say Maya Angelou. You could say a nonfiction science book, and it's going to absolutely like sort of personify whoever you tell it to be. So that's the first thing. Act as Picasso. Act as this writer. Act as Dr. Seuss, and create this content. And if you give it some content, it will create what you're asking.
Does it matter what prompts go in what? So is it like the first prompt needs to be like the basis, and if like the prompts are in different orders, it's gonna give you like a different photo, right? Is it something where like if you can nail down where you're starting off saying Van Gogh instead of at the end of saying at the end of all the prompts, like in Van Gogh's art, like if you say it in the very beginning, are you gonna get like better pictures because now it's going Van Gogh, and then it drops in everything from here, or do you do the art and all this stuff and then you put in Van Gogh and then it will just digitize
the
what
input
it has.
order, what like the order matter? That's interesting.
No, it's a great question. So this AI stuff, they call it multimodal, meaning like you can have text output, you could have picture output, you could have video output right now. If you're doing text like ChatGPT, you can build this chain of thought or this tree of thought or this sort of started prompt at the top that builds on itself over and over again. So if you are a small business owner and you're like working on, hey, this is the business that I operate, this is what I want to do, I'm a new startup, I want to get into this industry, you can start building your business plan. And by telling it information about yourself and your business and your goals, it'll start writing information with text.
Wow.
Pictures don't work the same. Pictures, like you would put in your first, like, I want this, alien in space flying around on a UFO in this type of graffiti styling, right? And it would create that. And then you would choose one of the 4 images. And out of those 4, you could say, I want that to be better perfected. And you pick that picture, and it uses the picture itself as the prompt from there. And then you can pull that picture down and make it more clear or give it some direction. And then just in the last 2 weeks, they've had this expansion system with Adobe mostly, but imagine you have your photo and then you can increase the size of the photo, so it'll start panning around it
I
and
saw
making
that.
it
That's crazy.
larger and larger, and it can
add
pan.
trees, it can add lakes and everything that weren't even in the photo, right?
yeah,
Correct.
Yeah, that's insane, dude.
So, and it's like a hyperscaling is what they're sort of calling that. So you could hyperscale a picture. So your first image may not be so crisp that you could print it on a billboard, but by the time you hyperscale it, you definitely could.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing, because I mean, there's photos that if I look at the photo, I'm like, if it was just cropped higher, if there was more available in my picture, I would have exactly what I wanted. But sometimes you're like, I don't want to post that because it's off center, things are weird, like not enough sky in it, whatever the case may be. Like, and for it to be able to just create that space in that photo
seamlessly,
because I've seen some examples, and like it literally finished like a I guess the picture had cut off of a waterfall, and it completed the waterfall at the top, so they were able to get their full photo, but it was only halfway. So like it created the scene that didn't exist in the photo. That is amazing, because it just could read what, I mean, it had to predict the rocks that were at the top, the type of trees that were at top. So like pretty amazing, like on top of it. But I was just thinking as we're talking about that before we go into like whatever comes next. You said that, like you said, it could do it in like graffiti style, alien on a ship, whatever. And I think about our
back wall there.
Back wall, the images that we have on the back wall. And when you're given these like directions, if you will, onto the ChatGPT, at what point is the creator that's given the input do they get like a credit because they're the ones that meticulously put it in order to create the unique image? Even though the AI is creating the final image, you're instructing it, so there is intellectual aspects to it. So is there a way that we're going in the direction that someone could get credit for putting those words in a specific order to create an image that no one else has otherwise created prior? Like,
when you say credit, do you mean
credit, like if you were to want to sell this image, or you want to own this image,
right,
and get some kind of profit or some kind of any kind of real credit amongst the internet, as much as that gets, because people be screenshotting stuff all day long and whatever, but like to get credit, like AI interpreted by this but created by Andrew Eisler or whatever, and I give my instructions, and then all of a sudden I get this alien in the stars with whatever, maybe Jimi Hendrix up there playing or something like that. But like something, is that the direction we're going? It's just, as you're talking about it, I'm like, my wheels are spinning.
Well, there's a big question with IP for sure.
Right, exactly.
Like Sarah Silverman and a few other creators are actually suing OpenAI and Facebook, Meta, for essentially training their AI models on her material. So you can literally ask AI to perform a set as if it's Sarah Silverman around any topic, and it's going to be pretty close to her sort of her cadence.
Comedy.
Her topics, how she would
very
approach.
Distinctive. Yeah.
So you can do that. So
she sure is. She is one of a kind for sure.
These AIs were trained on your information. Is that like you watching her show and then talking about it in the future, or is that like OpenAI just ripping their IP and being able to provide it now to anybody? So, and then if you can clone her voice, like how much of this existence of hers still really exists, where she can profit off of it? How can she monetize the authentic?
Yeah, how can she monetize
versus someone doing a drop on a dub beat of a new like Sarah Silverman fake track that she's just saying a joke, but it's completely fictitious. You know, so like, is she going to be able to monitor that? Is she going to be able to stop that? Like, I think content creation is in a really a big bind. We used to have, like, imagine like record players, like they used to be able to monetize a song every time you hear it. Or the FM radio or AM radio, you could monetize it. Then it moved to like MP3s and CDs, and like burning CDs and mixtapes, really, even before that. So we've had this like fast movement within 30 years of like content being replicated and re-provided to people. And now we're in the cloud where it's instantaneous.
Right.
If you clone it once, you can clone it 10 million times. So what type of ownership is that? I mean, Napster really hit the music industry. The music industry is really in an interesting space, because once you could share, content, it changed. But now that you can generate new content, that's a whole new
beast. It's a Pandora's box that's been open, man.
It's like you would do it as if like ideas created by in the likeliness of Sarah Silverman, if you will, like, because like someone else comes up with a joke, but it's executed in Sarah Silverman's voice / maybe even a video. They might be able to match up the mouse down to the words, even though she didn't actually speak.
Well, I think the problem is it's not the person typing in the joke. It's the person just typing in tell a joke in Sarah Silverman's style.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
But if they were to come up with the joke and want this joke told by that they came up with, but told by Sarah Silverman, they could do that as well, in theory, right?
Well, it's tough. Like, that person may not make enough money for Sarah Silverman to even sue. They might send a cease and desist.
Sure.
So
yeah. Right.
You're not going to like get any money if there was no money made.
Right.
True.
But no money made could still mean 5 million people saw this. Like piece of content.
And in the description box on that YouTube or whatever, just a link to their clothing brand or like anything, like, because if the 5 million views, it's gonna go somewhere if someone's smart about making their moves. Maybe they sell Sarah Silverman little merch on the side and they're like, hey, just go here and you can get stuff, even though the joke and everything wasn't even created by her. It was created by AI. So like that, we are in uncharted waters. Like, this is definitely a conversation that I'm glad we're having, because there is, I mean, I don't hear a lot of these conversations happen. It's just what is coming, not what is going to happen because of this AI technology that's in our faces right now. And like, yeah, it's at the infant stage of most of it, but really, like, how long does that last before it's mastered and we're moving on to the next level of what we're already in? You know what I mean? The next tier, which is coming soon. I mean, it's moving fast. So
the way that I'm thinking about it is, if you've got to buy like credits for Midjourney, right? If I've got to spend $5 to create an image, then I'm as a creator, I'm assuming that I paid the paywall for them to create it. So then all the backlash of Sarah Silverman would fall back on Midjourney, not me, because I paid for them to create this.
They're the barrier.
Right. So I mean, I don't know if that's how it's going to go, but there is something tricky going on where a lot of the music artists are selling their catalogs now. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the biggest artists in the world. Cher sold hers, Bieber sold his, and it's just coming down the pipeline where all the major artists that have record deals are the ones that are selling their entire catalogs. And to me, I think that there's a pivoting moment here where, like, these artists aren't going to be able to, their music isn't going to be not as relevant, but it's not going to be as wealthy as it was 5 years ago, because people like us can go in and just do, Taylor Swift style song with a little bit of this, right? And then just to the point where it's not Taylor Swift, it's not Drake, it's kind of in the middle of 2 or 3 characters, right? Or 2 or 3
Taylor
artists.
Swift, a little bit of Kanye in there.
Yeah. So and then all of a sudden it's your own, right? But it's definitely the tone of like a NERD song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like at that point, are the movies going to start creating their own style songs for their soundtracks instead of paying artists for them? You know what I mean? There's a slippery slope that's happening, and it's like, everyone's got their blinders on, bro. We're all on this bus with no brakes. And we don't know how to pivot through traffic right now.
You're not gonna be able to stop it. So this bus is gonna have to have a clear path to go wherever it's gonna go. So I mean, but with that being said too, like, the catalogs being sold, it's going into the hands of somebody else. What is their plan with the music? What do they do going forward too? Like, the people that are purchasing all this art, this music, what do they do with it? Are they
sell it to the radio stations?
I was gonna say sell it to the radios, sell it to the people that are doing, like, maybe like a service where they start keeping track of people mimicking their stuff. There might be a whole entity that polices this. And maybe
you just blew my mind. What if it was somebody like a Pandora? Like, what if it's just one company that's buying all these catalogs, and now all of a sudden it's just going to be like Tidal, like where one app comes out and that's the only place you can hear Cher and Justin Bieber. Like, you won't be able to hear it on Spotify. I mean, is that even possible if they sell their catalog?
I would say that is possible. I mean, they can put their music where they want to put it if they own it. It can be
Right,
I mean,
but
Taylor Swift took
they
her
would-
music away because no one was getting paid. So
I think there's one example. Neil Young, going a little old
Neil
school.
Young,
He just
yeah.
pulled a lot of his
Yeah.
records off of like Spotify and a few other distribution places. But
Right.
the music industry sort of like way before AI, they went on YouTube. YouTube allows you to share. Then, with the invention of like sort of these reels that have come out, whether it's TikToks or YouTube, Facebook, they have totally just utilized everybody's clips.
Oh, yeah.
And now you can easily create your own reel on your own mobile phone with an artist, and that seems like that should be Meta's payment back to the artist. It doesn't seem like that should be just stolen from that level. So
For sure.
I think and maybe they've done deals that we don't know about. Maybe there is something there, but maybe it's so low cost that the deal's already in place. So there's probably 15 distribution deals. Amazon, the Apple Music Store, all these different locations. Obviously Pandora, you all have Sirius and XM, so
Right.
they probably are so distributed, and plus they're on everybody's hard drive.
Right.
You're never going to be able to crush anyone's music tastes at this point because the internet's bigger.
You'll be able to find it, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I think it's going to turn into new ways of leveraging music. Probably the Grimes, Elon Musk's, I guess, ex-wife.
Yeah.
She's the one that announced that she would allow people to split revenue with her if they created using her likeness. And
She's smart, man. She knows that Pandora's box is open.
yeah, might as well jump on and see if anyone just wants to play by the rules. Maybe you could support them a little bit more, and maybe that's what artists are going to do. So I'm just not completely sure where music's going to go. I do see a push back to live music.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you should go to concerts and see people live perform.
I mean, that's where they make their money too, man.
Yeah.
The music artists that they don't make their money selling CDs back in the 90s. Like they made their money on tour.
and merch.
And merch, yeah.
Yep. I mean, that's why like you see the shirt prices are going crazy up, like crazy high. Like a concert shirt at like a Riverbend or any major place, it's
$45.
I mean, sometimes up to $70
Yeah.
for a shirt. So like they know that's where all their money's got to come from because everything else is paid, lawyers and the process to get there, and the small sliver at the end isn't covering the whole band and everything out there of scale. So they go to the merch, and I don't believe in merch cuts, but that's why a lot of venues do merch cuts because the merch is so high. The venue gets theirs, but like. Don't believe in merch cuts. Not a big fan of that whole idea, but I do understand on a financial standpoint on everyone, but I just don't like taking from the artists like that. That's how they make their money. We know, everyone knows that they're not getting the stream money. We know that. So like if you're just going to take from their main source of income, I don't know, don't love it. But
Yeah, me either.
that is part of the game. It's part of what they signed up for. They're playing music in front of people for a living, so.
I mean, obviously, you
It's-
probably know this being in the music industry, but when you go to a venue, all artists' T-shirts have to be the same price. So if
yes.
if the opening act wants to sell his tees for $25, but the main act's got them for $45,
We all had a price
opening
match.
act, yep, he's
We
got
all
to
had a
put them at
price match.
$45.
Yeah, I mean, but like in my experience, it didn't affect us. Like we put on a good enough performance, and at the time, it was good enough to get those shirt sales and stick with with anyone in the room, which was very nice. But like they did make us price match.
Yeah.
But I did already have because I had already experienced it early.
Yeah.
So I priced our shirts at every show higher. We were probably like 5 to 10 higher than most of the other local bands, and it was nice because I knew it was coming, so I didn't have to change my signage because that was the downside. Because when you get to the venue, they're like, you have to price it here. That sign is no good because you can only just make one sign for your
Yeah.
table. Like, oh man, we have to like write like it has $35 now. It's not a $30 item or $25, whatever. So like they make you do that, and there's no arguing it. But I know sometimes though, like the price match, it doesn't always hurt really. Like honestly, sometimes these touring bands do go at like $20, $25 t-shirts. It's not always like you have to pay a $35 premium price. Like there are a lot of these touring bands doing $20 shirts, like bigger bands doing $20 to $25. So it does
I
happen.
haven't seen it.
It not as much now, but like shirts going to $30 to $35 was kind of a big deal for a lot of
Oh,
us, like in the scene back when it did. And then some of the bigger bands started coming through and were like, oh, there are still legit bands doing the $20 to $25. But then you have Warped Tour and all these other big tours, and they're obviously doing $35, $45 shirts. But it really just time and place and the type of show. But I was always in the metal and the rock scene, so it kind of has its own thing. Like the hip hop world has its own price tag. They all kind of have their own thing. It's not really like a universal thing with merch. It kind of like the industries and the scenes are all different. Because I work in all the scenes. Working where I do, there's no genre. There's no genre like heavy focus. It's everyone's involved. There's all inclusive, like all ages, all genres. It's everything. So that's the thing about the music industry is like if you find a place like that, you'll see every different type of scene come through. So you get to see what they're doing in their world each time, which is what I like about Madison Theater and Madison Live. But yeah, speaking of that, I am putting on a birthday show on July 21st, and Chris, you should come through. You should come to. We have put on a birthday show at Madison Live in Covington, and you should come through and just check out some bands and some artists. It'll be a fun time.
Yeah, I know some friends that are in the concert scene. I'll have to come check it out.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Friday, July 21st, Madison Live, and it's 2 floors, 2 stories.
It's a rooftop, so it's like
rooftop,
it's got no ceiling on it. Second floor is super.
Oh,
cool.
it's so much fun. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. So we're celebrating birthdays, and there's a few people's birthdays, so we're all kind of like going in on it. But yeah, this is the year 2 of it, volume 2. So
nice.
We'll hopefully do it each year and make it bigger and bigger, and just make it a party for everyone so they can network too. Because I want the artists to all come in and meet each other, and because it's mixed genre, so there's no one genre, so everyone's in different scenes. Most of these people have never played in front of each other ever, so it's like all new for everybody. So, and that's the beauty of a birthday party, is because I can do that. On a normal show, you usually stick all the genres are the same together because they're gonna, most of those bands will play together. But in this case, all the scenes are different. They all come from different parts of town, so it's gonna be fun. Yeah,
that's very cool.
Yeah, man. So
that's a lot of information I didn't know about. The only like merch I really paid attention to was the Taylor Swift concert that just happened.
Bro, that was so smart on her part.
Merch trucks, man. That is insane. Just
2 days early, right?
3 days early, bro. I got here like Wednesday or some shit.
The lines outside in Cincinnati were wrapping around blocks. People were there from like 4 a.m., I heard. 4 a.m. to get merch.
Yeah, it was like a global meme. The lady that showed up and she had her shirt over her head.
Yeah.
She called off work. Yeah.
I'm 100% sure I know that girl.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like, I don't know who it is, but I'm like, I've got so many friends that would do that exact same thing that I guarantee that I know her.
Yeah.
So shout out to you,
Mystery woman.
Yeah. She looked like
Mystery Swiftie.
She looked like cousin It, bro, from Adam's Family.
Yeah.
But so this whole ChatGPT for business and life thing, bro. So this is something that, like, last time we had you on the podcast, you were just getting it going, right? The group that you've got going on for all the AI stuff, and you're already at what, like 225,000 followers now in this group chat.
Right.
Wow.
That's just it's
amazing, man.
One of the things, bro, that blows my mind was like I feel like you've been waiting for this moment for a long time. Like we met probably a year ago, maybe over that now, and you came in and you were just looking around and seeing everything in the store, and you're like Russell Crowe from A Beautiful Mind, bro. You were just like downloading everything that was on the walls, and you're like, dude, this place is insane, like, and I can make it so much cooler. And it's like, all right, tell me what you're thinking. And like, so much about the back end that people want to know about, right? Like, there's so many people that are like, man, I wish I could do that, right? But you're the guy that knows how to do all that shit. So, when all this AI stuff started popping off, like, you got the group, the ChatGPT for life and business, right? Is that what it's called?
ChatGPT for business and life.
For business and life. There you go.
Thanks for anybody tuning in, by the way.
Yeah, dude, you got the whole crew watching, man. Shout out to you guys. If anyone in the group chat's watching.
Yeah, shout out to you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate you, man. We're here for it. We want to learn everything that you guys know right now.
Yes, teach us bro. All the wisdom and all the new tech and all the new words. I mean, I'm like, words are being created different, because like we call it Mid-Journey. No one didn't know what that was before now. And like that is becoming like a normal discourse. So to me, like, all the new terminology and the new things that are coming from it is just expanding everyone's mind, expanding the potential is pretty much, I mean, unmatched, uncharted. We're like, we don't know about other dimensions and everything like that has come before us. All we know is what's in front of us and what's in the here and now, and it is astonishing to me, like, how fast things are like unraveling in front of us. And the thing with me that always kind of gets me, though, is like, we talk about like people taking other people's work, and we talked on previous podcasts, like we did the Drake, we did the Drake song that they had did a cover around beans. The song was about beans, and they did it in Drake's voice and all these different things. And the thing that gets me is like, at what point do people stop? Well, let me say, not in a negative sense, but what point do people stop like joking around with it and start using it to really like benefit society in a tangible way? When are we going to really start like working on fixing the world hunger for real? Like that next level of like, let's do, rather than make funny videos on the internet and just make a joke of it. Is that a distraction thing? Is it really happening right now where people are actually using it? Like, where are we at with that is my curious. Because like, yeah, we're going to make jokes and stuff and things are funny and there's people worried about likenesses, like, and who's going to get the music money and stuff. But like, when it comes down to it, this technology is way more powerful than just doing a cover about beans by Drake. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like,
so I'll give you one new keyword that we'll see over the next year: stable diffusion. Stable diffusion is going to be creating video off of prompts. So I see this technology in the future. Imagine like when we talk about monetization, if you want to be Tom Cruise in Top Gun, I could see this in the next several years where you could pay a fee, take some selfies of yourself, and it's going to superimpose you to be Top Gun. You know, like that's stable diffusion. That's going to be next level.
Bro, so I've been waiting for that moment. Like I've thought for literally past 15 years, like movies are gonna get good when they can put your face on the character and then change the name. So like the guy in the movie, his name is Jay, right? And he's got my face or even my voice. I never thought of it that far to like to have my voice, but I've always thought that like that to have a resurgence of movies.
Yeah.
Like being able to go back and watch like Rocky Horror Picture Show or like the Little Shop of Horrors, and it's you as Rick Moranis, bro. Like that's something that's and I'm here for it, bro. Because like that type of like once it gets to the point where you can start doing video like of artificial intelligence, man, it's gonna be it's already hard to distinguish reality from fake when it comes to some of this stuff. I saw a photo of the Pope wearing like a puffy white jacket and a gold chain, and like if I wouldn't have known that the Pope doesn't go out in his one outfit, bro, I would have second guessed it and said, man, he's a G, dude. Yeah. But it's just like it's getting so good, and that's the thing. Like, you know, we brought you in like maybe 6 months ago. And the AI stuff was just popping off. It was just getting interesting. The NFTs were popular, you know, and it's come so far in 6 months, bro. In the next 3 years, this is going to be crazy to see, like where it takes off and you know what people utilize it for, because that's the big thing, man.
I want to know what they utilize it for on a grander scale. The people that do have that authority to even make the difference, you know.
So second question was that, like, what's this grand scheme of people using AI? So right now I think we're in a place where you got to use AI. You got to figure out like if this is for you and how to use it correctly. So I think we're in this stage where people that are going to make a big impact are now experimenting with AI in a way that they're starting to trust it. They're starting to understand where it's good, and they're going to start understanding where it's at right now. Like, I think, for instance, for law, I've been fighting a zoning variance hearing for a very long time, 13 months. Tomorrow, I may become the very first pro se self-represented person to win in court legal cases using ChatGPT for my filings.
That's crazy, dude.
That is G shit.
Well, I'm super excited.
That
like,
is
I
dope.
want to be like the first
Just saying.
person. You know, it's been one of my goals.
Yeah.
So hopefully
That's
that
dope.
happens tomorrow. But just a month ago, these lawyers, they got set up where they created like a filing in New Jersey for like an airline injury for their client. But ChatGPT hallucinates. It makes stuff up if it doesn't know it. It's not trained on all the data. Mm-hmm. So it would quote case law that didn't exist.
Oh, wow.
But the argument was right, but the case law was wrong. So they got a slap on the wrist, but they were really almost disbarred because they filed information that was incorrect. So right now we're experimenting with AI in a way that you got to understand what it can do well and what it can fail at. completely.
Okay, yeah.
So I think everyone in every one of these sectors are now experimenting on what it does well and what it doesn't do well. For instance, I'm working with a really brilliant guy. His name's Dr. Marcus Lehman. Really just top-notch educated person, also a doctor, anesthesiologist. And we've been working with AI to enhance patient care by translating information from one language to another in a culturally relevant sense. So imagine if you go out to like an Indian reservation that may be speaking Navajo. Navajo's not even a really well understood language. How can an English-speaking doctor provide patient care in a way that that person can understand and in that language? And I think that that's areas where we're going to start seeing changes in the whole world, where we can bring medicine globally, and then someone that speaks a native language that they're very proficient in and they're a doctor in, how can they be mindful and create outcomes for their patients in a way that their patients understand? And also, how can they provide information to that patient to let them know what just happened?
Right.
If they, maybe they have a surgery and they got to have an oxygen tube put down their throat. They're going to wake up tomorrow with fixed, hopefully, whatever they had surgery on, but their throat's going to hurt them. There's no real person right now telling that person why their throat hurts. But it'd be nice if they could have that information. So I think when you start seeing AI implemented for medicine, that's going to be a big, easy win. It's a big idea, but I think that's major. AI has been looking using machine learning at like exams, like whether it's mammograms or MRIs and things like that, where they could spot tumors. It's already in place. It's been doing that for a couple years. And that's not really this ChatGPT as much as it is like machine learning and AI.
Sure, right.
But I think as we start seeing all of these innovations like spread, we're going to see it across the board. You're going to see it for energy efficiency for this facility when they start understanding their power usage and have it on IoT and large language models. They may be able to use AI to run a better building, to make sure that it stays up to date and their field service workers are doing the right thing when they come out to work. So you're going to start seeing it across the board for all different types of use cases. And I think there's a couple sectors that I'm really focusing on right now, which are healthcare, law, professional services, retail like CPG, like helping out a major product brand or even like a major player that may have multiple brands. How can they utilize AI to better understand their personas that they are trying to get their brand to? They can use that with AI. So I think you're going to start seeing AI implemented, but how AI typically works, or really technology, it's going to go to where the money's at first.
Yeah.
And the money at right now for AI is probably in either tech startups with big ideas or marketing automation.
Okay, right. And to piggyback off that, like where it goes where the money's at, well, I also think that the money is ultimately in human survival. So like, because they want humans to, they want the world to grow, and they want population to be, expanding. Because right now at this rate, it's not, because each generation's less and less babies, whatever. So like humans growing. So like they do, like for money purposes, they need humanity to go further. So like I think the idea that it is going to help us, not necessarily to travel. I mean, we're gonna obviously travel. Like the goal is to travel to other planets, whatever. But like in here now, I talked about world hunger earlier, but like getting to find a way to get the poverty levels up, to get to raise the bar of, so people can be they can be financially free. There's able for the world to just get better. I think the technology's there. It just has to be done with the right hands, with the right intention. It's all intentional. It's all about the intent. Because if someone's just here to do their startup and the goal is to just get cool technology for all the 1% to be able to purchase and use, it's not necessarily where I would like to see it. I'd like to see it go into like, hey, how can we get these inner cities, the education system up using this? Like I have a daughter, and she, they've mentioned to us many times, and they're just like kind of preparing us, like it's going to be STEM education. STEM is the future. This is where we're going. Just so you know, that's where everything's happened. Just a heads up. Like they tell us, like, I mean, right from the beginning, they were like, heads up, like the hospital, like everyone just telling us, like, here's the information we got to give you. This is the future. That's what's going to happen. Just prepare yourself, yada yada. Because we didn't do STEM when we were little. It was, it was different. The education has changed, whatever. But like, they're creating it right now for the future before she's even there. They're just letting us know. So like, the powers that be, the people that are running the entire process with the smartest people on the planet, to use it to greater human good, that's the first thing that needs to go, because like when everything's good, everything else is just going to get better, because other people that have the gifts that just aren't able to financially do it, their talents are not able to be showcased. Like that's kind of like where my brain goes with it. But
sure, I think that when you see education, I think it could be personalized with AI. In fact, it already is. Like if you look at some players out there, they already have a very nice personalized AI platform for learning. It's awesome. But who has access, right?
Who has access?
And then when you talk about school systems, it's very bureaucratic.
Yeah.
I think that, with COVID, there was just like massive numbers of students that couldn't even get online. So if you can't get online, you can't use AI, you can't use a computer, you probably can't do your classroom work.
Right.
And now you're behind a couple years. So I think there needs to be initiatives. You'll find that people that lean into AI, maybe some people that are honestly more in control of their curriculum, maybe homeschoolers, are going to be able to choose their AI platform-driven education that's going to be personalized for their kids' growth, and it's going to be able to like probably create assignments that are built around their interest, but one topic, maybe a STEM topic. So I think that's going to be where you see it. It's going to be interesting to see if schools embrace it. It's going to be interesting to see if colleges and how well they do now that we have AI. I've just been at some major campuses. I was just at MIT like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, tell me about that,
Tell us, yeah.
So thanks, Paul Bear. Like he reached out to me and got me the invite. We went to the MIT C-Cell Imagination in Action event. C-Cell stands for Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence Lab.
Oh, nice.
So cool, man.
What's crazy is that like the term artificial intelligence, it was created at a conference in Dartmouth University in like 1956. Okay, these people were thinking about like the theory on it. In 1963, MIT created a lab saying we're going to open up a whole new department around this computer and AI stuff. And that's what they called it, artificial intelligence, like that early on. So now 60 years later, they have the celebration of that founding of their school. So it was pretty wild. There were 30 startups that presented in the first hour. After that, there were 8-minute talks throughout the day. There were 68-minute talks by professors that are running special projects. There's stuff that I've seen at this MIT event that may be 5 to 20 years out, but just super fascinating stuff. I met the person that invented the Ethernet cord, which is pretty wild.
Wow.
I mean, and he said that connectivity is more important than AI.
Yeah.
And if you look at like the truth, it definitely is. We have these innovations that build on each other.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of the innovation came early on from the professors there. I met one professor, Bob Frankston, who was the coder for a platform called VisiCalc. VisiCalc, we never used it. It was, imagine Excel 1.0. So it created this platform that it would do calculations on a spreadsheet. And it would actually do the calculations. Before that, it couldn't be done. So this was like late 70s, early 80s when he created this with his college roommate. They actually met with Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak and sold them this platform. And this is one of the reasons Apple survived those early days, is because it had such a cool Excel-like platform.
Oh, wow.
And this person was a professor at MIT. They had talks about, this was really cool, like this professor, she developed a way to change fabric color using paint. And not only fabric, just paint color on the fly from a computerized system. And it uses light processing, but it can essentially do like red, blue, like Roy G. Biv maybe, like a couple of the colors, it can automatically change. So you could have a wall, and then you could send the design to the wall, and the paint will change that whole wall. And her view when it comes to sustainability is that you could have one shirt, but it could be 50 colors.
Right.
You could have one car and change the color of your car whenever you see fit. And the process they have down now is about 45 minutes to an hour, from what I understand, but they can completely change colors using paint. So that was pretty wild. That another thing that I saw that was pretty wild, there was a talk on a new type of microscope, and I won't even call it a microscope or a macroscope. It was just a scope that can look at, like, let's say the Brent Spence bridge, and it can see vibrations, and it will hyper amplify any vibrations in a bridge, so you could see any type of breakdown point.
Oh wow!
Wow.
And that's using
That's
tech
amazing.
and AI. So that was wild.
That
But
is.
there were
That's some. There's some gems, man. This is some cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, and one last one. There was a guy from MIT Sloan that his goal is to raise $35 billion
Oh,
to.
no big deal. It's a Tuesday.
He said that he's going to try to find the money. Obviously, he doesn't quite have it yet, but he's working on this plan that, by the math, he believes that if you invest in healthcare startups take about 10 years to get vetted, created, and FDA approved, that if you would invest in 220 of these companies over this 10-year run, you would be able to make a multiple on that initial investment. And mathematically, he believes it'd be locked in as a winner. But it takes $35 billion to test out his thesis.
Wow.
So really next level.
Yeah.
At MIT. They closed the event by playing some songs from HAL, or Space Odyssey, 2001 Space Odyssey.
Nice.
So, yeah, it was a super interesting event. A lot of smart people in the room. A lot of mathematics on the screen. That most presentations stay very high level. They weren't afraid to, like, really dive deep into the numbers.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's what they do.
that is what they do.
Yeah.
What you'd expect.
Exactly.
Hal, close the door, Hal. Was that the phrase?
Yeah.
Close the door, Hal.
Open the door. Oh,
Open
right.
the door. Yeah.
Open the door.
I'm afraid I can't do that.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy, man. There's the way that technology is changing as quick as it is, bro. It's like you've got to adapt or die. So the fact that you like dove in head first, and you got the group together, and you're hitting it on the forefront, man. I'm so glad that we've got you as a friend, and that you're here in Cincinnati, bro. Because when it comes to this AI stuff, everybody wants to know how, right? Like, the Van Gogh Starry Night and Cincinnati logo that we did. It was super cool, dude. It was like, in learning about
dope.
it, like, how you said you choose one and then it uses that one as the prompt. Like, so what we were trying to do is we were trying to get the Paul Brown Stadium and the Red Stadium in there. So the first couple weren't right. So then, we clicked the one that did look good. And then we added the Red Stadium or the Bengal Stadium on there. And it, like, as a novice, like I thought it was a pretty fire design at the end of the whole thing, man. So it's like, if we can get to the point where you know how to utilize it, and especially when it comes to video, dude, like this is going to be insane. The next two, like even the next 6 to 8 months, bro, with how fast this stuff's moving. And I love the fact that you're over here saying, like, well, if the levy got involved, they'd be able to like figure out their energy uses and everything. Like, so he's on, like, he's 5 years ahead of everyone else, because in 5 years the levy is going to be like, oh shit, we can use this to
right.
to track flow and figure out like energy uses, and we can save money. Like, yeah, let's do this.
Let's do it. Yeah.
But maybe that's something you need to figure out, bro. Like, figure out how to create that AI that can help the levy, and start it now. So 5 years from now, it's not some startup from Silicon Valley that did it, bro.
Starts here in Cincy.
Well, we hope so. So, like, we're actually working on some systems like that now. Over the last, I would say, 2 months, we've been able to present a couple times to Quantico, right? So we got to present our IoT platform, which monitors sensors in facilities and smart plants, with a large language model, AI, our own private AI, that we can host at the data center, and able to map it in a way that the Marine Corps Systems Command could hopefully, at least they find it of interest to present to other government entities on facilities management and maintenance. Right now, you can build it, but you got to find the market, right? And it's like with any type of business, you got to find like where the market's at. Right now, we feel that the market is definitely at a level where government can participate, Fortune 100s can participate, maybe a company would participate at a level like the levy, but it's still a few years out, and you got to get to the pricing that they can afford and proving out a model. So right now it's so new, it's amazing the level of enterprise interest there really is, because they didn't have this technology 3 years ago. They didn't have it 5 years ago. It really just hit everybody 6 months ago, and now it's in their lap, and they know AI is coming. They're fearful that this AI is either going to take over the world, or they're fearful that it's more advanced than what it is, or they're fearful that it's going to take their job, or they're fearing the unknown. Right. And there's this false evidence appearing real. I think that's sort of what fear stands for. Like this false evidence that people are afraid to even take that leap to embrace AI, and then finding the right practitioners that can even turn it on right now. They're scarce. Right. And like we're sort of in a learning environment ourselves. Like I'm really happy that I was able to start this group, and there's such a community, because I learn stuff from them all the time. Yeah. One of the new things I think is awesome is the QR codes.
Yeah,
Have
bro.
you guys seen these?
Yeah, man. And that's something I wanted to bring up, because when I saw that on your group, I was mind blown, because like QR codes are obviously like they're not going anywhere. They're just getting bigger and bigger. And the fact that you can, QR codes are so one dimensional. They're, two color, and then if you know what you're doing, you can put like your logo in the middle of it. But these new AI generated, I wanted to show you one before we get on the podcast too, because they're so impressive, dude. It's like basically a character could be standing in front of the QR code, like where the QR code is just on the back wall. Okay. Character's in front of it, but the character has some sort of, pink and white or black and white that's attached to him or her.
That still makes the QR code
effective.
Work.
Yeah. Look at them, bro. These things are absolutely incredible. And it's not like, they look like pieces of art anyway. So the fact that you can have these and somebody can scan that, like if you're able to put...
Okay. Yeah, I got you. Here. So they have images of stuff within it. Yeah, you got it. So there's images here. You can see the art, like the artwork within the QR code. That's amazing. That could that's going to change the game. Like you could literally, we in this area where like bands, and we talk about bands getting paid and whatnot, and like you could have your logo within it and everything, like just built it. It just
something like that. Small. Something like that on that park bench would go so much further than a regular QR code. Right. You know what I mean? Because something like that's like, it looks like there's value behind that QR code. You know what I mean? It's not a one-dimensional cartoon style black and white QR code. It's something that's got art to it. So you're already thinking like, wait a minute, is this going to work? So you're already holding your phone up just to see if it works. Yes. Right? And then it does, and then you got to click the button because, it did work. Let's do it. Let's see what's behind this wall.
Let's do it.
Yeah. 100%, bro. The second I saw it, I was like, I need it. I don't know how to do it yet, but I need it. Yeah. So
let's do it.
Do you know how to do them?
Yeah, sure. There's some ways to do it manually, but there's some people in our group that have actually created like a little side hustle on using Stable Diffusion's AI and Midjourney's AI to create these for companies. And I don't think they're charging a lot, maybe $5, maybe $10 for a brand to create their QR code.
I'm here for it.
They're able to do it very rapidly, so it's something you could definitely learn. But there's going to be some ease of use necessary for some people that don't want to like dive into AI. There's also some testing that needs to be done because sometimes your QR code won't be picked up by your phone. So you got to have a good balance of still looking like a QR code, but also being functional enough that it flows people to a web link, but has that artistic look to it.
Okay, so there is like a
right,
point.
like make sure there's no like logo on the shirt that's gonna that the phone is gonna try to click the word native instead of like you know what I mean?
Because it looked like that image is almost like kind of transparent back there, like they kind of the image kind of
yeah. She was QR, like kind of blended into the back, but standing in front of it.
Yeah, the QR code kind of came through, so like that makes sense. But like I could see how he's saying like if you were to take your phone, like now our phones are looking for the image, and it might try to grab the native. Just the native part out of the QR code just because it wants the...
Dude, the technology in the phone is getting crazy.
It's nuts.
In general. Like you can just type in... You can just go to your photos now and just go to search and just type in pet or dog, and then it'll pull up all the dog photos in your phone. plant. Type in plant and then see all the plant photos that pop up. It's so strange.
So
dude.
many dog photos.
I mean, the fact that it's not like Google, right? So I kind of understand where you're trying to search things and you use Google Lens and take a photo of a plant and it says, yeah, that's a hibiscus, But the fact that they're just pictures in your phone, and when you go to search them, it'll pull up like all your dog photos.
2,569 dog photos.
There you go, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
2569.
So that's
told me straight up.
And it's insane that it just like seamlessly does that. That's not an addition. You didn't pay for that. That's just an update on the phone.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
It's like it. I mean, but we're like at the point where
nothing surprises you anymore.
Nothing surprises me, and it is what it is. Like we're talking about like in the world now that like when you're out in public and doing your thing, like it is literally when you're in front of cameras, it can tell you exactly who that person is now in a lot of circumstances. So the fact that they can just read our face and they can know it, and I've seen it in real time. Like someone showed me, like, hey man, this is because like a dude he was like, my uncle's a cop, but he's kind of a detective, and check out this technology. I see you guys have a podcast I'd love to talk about. And he was like, yeah, they can literally read their faces. That's why Facebook's going to that. He was like, went on about all this recognition. I was like, well, I've heard about it, so I'm not foreign to the idea, but that's really, he's like, yeah, I've seen him use it. And I was like, man, that's like, I was like, you probably shouldn't be talking about that, one, but two, but like even then, like the fact that even exists on just a camera that's out there that has no attachment to our social medias, it can just tell who you are and it can pick your face in. Like I mean, even our Wise cameras, the moving ones, puts a square around the box of a person. Yeah. I mean, it's that, and that's just a camera we have in the store.
Well, I'm sure if you see casinos, and now you have like grocery stores, and you see parking lot cops, which are just like little pull behind trailers with like 3D cameras, like or 360 cameras.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's what they're doing. They're probably mapping license plates. That information is probably for sale to certain agencies or companies. There's probably also facial recognition for sure if you go into a casino.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know,
right.
and
but nothing like it's just we're just in the middle of all these happen in front of us. So like us being surprised and shell shocked by things, it's the really cool stuff that's now having to get our like, our brains flowing, because like, hey, like everything else is like it just is. We're here now. Like, I mean, when like anytime someone even sends like calls or texts and stuff, your phone already says that's maybe this person, even if the name isn't even put in the text message. I've gotten just a hey, and they said it's maybe this person. I'm like, how did it even know? Because their phone's names attached somewhere they didn't even say a name in the text, and it still said maybe this person, and it was that person. So like if the phone knows that, there's just so many things happening right in front of us, and it's just like seamlessly being put in our lives. It's not even, there's no announcements happening. These updates are happening on our phone, and it just like you said, like we just did a search for my dogs, like it just was put there. There was not a big announcement that this is happening, new technology. You know what I mean? That's another like,
we're totally in a new era, the information age,
uploads,
for sure.
It's just
and then totally connected, and we're on the grid all the time.
Yeah.
And our phones are super smart when it comes to connectivity and knowing like our IMEI numbers. So your phone does have a real connection to who you are all the time, tracking connection. Social media is tracking you. Your apps are tracking you. The interesting thing I think we're seeing this week is like Threads came out, right? Threads is...
Dude, you are phenomenal at podcasting. I didn't even, we don't even have to go through the list here.
I know.
He's transitioning like he's done this before, bro.
Yeah,
just
man.
like boom, boom, like not just checking them off the list, bro.
Yeah.
Threads, man. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk. Yeah, for sure.
So are you guys on Threads? Have you started that this week?
Yeah, man. I hopped on it right when Gary Vee was talking about it. And I dove in head first, and I hit up every single person that I've wanted to wear my clothes, because I thought, hey, these people are on Threads right now. Their follower count's down. They're probably checking it every 5 minutes to see if they're getting like actions in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was hitting up a bunch of YouTubers, and I hit up Lids, I hit up Hat Club, I hit up all these places hey, check out what we're doing, man.
Yeah, get into the back door while the back door is available right now. And once it closes, and because there was a point in time when I used to do the same thing with bands, but with Instagram, before Instagram was like the focus thing. I was like, if I can't get them through email, because that's how we used to always try to do it, get the main guy's email or phone number and hit him up until he gets you back. I was like, well, maybe Instagram. And so I was like, you know what? And I started messaging record labels, just assistants, second in charge, anyone I could find. And that's what I did. And I got connected for a few people and we tried out and did our thing. But like, Instagram was the time. Now it's in Instagram messages. Thousands of people are pouring in. I mean, whether it's an influence or something, that's not the new way. But this Threads, when it popped up, I thought the same thing. Is like, this is the time to get into this door early, because like my follower count was like really low at the start. I started it, and it allows you to follow everybody, and then I guess they get the same option to follow you back, whatever. But at first it popped up and there wasn't that many, and then like a day later, I just saw everyone on now. Everyone just jumped on. I was like, all right. And then they said 100 million users or something like that in the first
fast
5 days. Yeah. So like, yeah. Like, what are your thoughts on the whole drop of it?
Well, I think that it was easy to opt in people that were using Instagram with one click, and then they tighten their threads.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's
Genius.
a
Yep.
big
Seamless, bro. That's the thing. Make it seamless. Make it
seamless,
easy to transfer everything over. I don't want to start something new. If I can just hit a button, and then as the followers, as my followers on Instagram go to Threads, I don't even have to follow them. They're just going to link up.
Yeah.
It's perfect, bro. It's so smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's nothing I think revolutionary about it. I think it's for sure a Twitter clone.
Yeah.
You know, so there's not like it was AI for sure. I think there's a whole different level of AI between AI being a new generational sort of generative paradigm shift, and Thread seems like an interesting thing to do if you're going to box or fight your competitor.
Exactly,
you know?
bro.
And you just like, okay, I can build Twitter and we'll launch it. So I think that's very interesting they launched it. I think what makes it sort of interesting is this idea of the Fediverse. Did you see that when you signed up? Like, you're joining the Fediverse, like this federated social media internet where you own your own Twitter, essentially.
Your
and
own
you
block,
can,
yeah.
and you can like port it to other Fediverses or communicate to these other private social networks.
I didn't know. Explain more of that. Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay. So I'm pretty sure this was an open source project that Facebook coded and launched from a system called Mastodon. Mastodon was like a Twitter clone. They said, hey, you know what? If you want to run a Twitter, put this on your server. If you find enough friends to use it, it might be interesting. You can turn it on. If you don't have any friends to join it, it's going to be really lame, but you can turn on the software. Well, I guess that there's been such a community underground under Mastodon that are opening up their own little federated clones, exactly like Threads, out there. They're using the same source code. They may make it look a little different because they have some UI designers, but essentially the core is this open source project. So that's sort of interesting. I don't know if like Threads, if you're concerned about your privacy and being tracked like we were talking a moment ago, I don't think Threads is your place. You know? But Fediverse, maybe a Mastodon that you join, that you can own your own data and knows who owns it because it's your data. You join a very ethical, non-advertising driven, outside of like the Facebooks or Metas and Instagrams, Twitters, like your own universe of social media. That's where this sort of thought process behind this Fediverse come about. And it looks like Facebook just like totally adopted it, or should I say Meta adopted it and launched it. So it's definitely here. It's made it mainstream. It's definitely a software that I never joined before because I was like, you know what, like that's such a small community, and like, am I going to waste my time? So I just never really paid attention, but it was always like sort of working in the background for the last few years. So this project they were able to bring as an open source project and now make a direct competitor to Twitter. So this is what I think is super interesting. When you see Elon Musk that spent, $44 billion to buy Twitter, and now they're using an open source project essentially to compete with Twitter that's like for like, very similar, like, can they do that? Do they have the IP? The open source projects say they do, and they can compete, but is this IP really Twitter's? Like, should they own the patent on small thread-like social media networks?
It's a very specific description, right? So, like, what is the buying of Twitter? I still like there. I still think that's a bigger picture for him. I don't think it's just person. I think he's going to use the we talked about the link Neuralink and everything with it and like I think the world is about using Twitter as like the open space that people are already at, and he can maximize it. But like this Instagram drop, it is going to bring a more youthful generation. Younger people are going to be on this because less young people, unless you're into sports, a lot of things. I would say Twitter is more of a news focused. A lot of sports come out of there. People follow there. Well, Instagram is so. I mean, TikTok and Instagram are very like on like the high school to college. Yeah. So like if they get into the Twitter space, the Instagram version, threads version of Twitter, but like if they get in this space, that is like completely untapped market that isn't sitting in Twitter right now, because it's just Twitter, like you said, like you have to be interested in like what you're really following, because it is just every the miniature thread, how you described it, which is very interesting. Can you even like own that type of, I mean, they created it, but like how would they describe it? I'm sure the words are, how do you describe a thread like stream of content, like, I mean, but at the end of the day, them matching it and doing the same thing is cool, but like those things happen all the time and things fade out. But the fact that Instagram is youthful and they're younger, so there's all those like
there's no kids running to Twitter to grab their handle
and to vent, because they're gonna take their venting to Threads once they understand that that's their platform, that they can just throw stuff out. I don't have to throw just pictures out. I can just complain here. And mom's not following, or whoever's not following, like my parents aren't following this, and it'll just go there. That's like, it's a huge pocket of people that are just caught. Right. You know what I mean? Like that's what I think. Like I have a 17-year-old brother. I could see. I mean, not that it's something he'd be interested in, but like his friends, that pocket, he is not going to Twitter.
Right.
Landon is not going to Twitter. He's just not. It's not where he's at. I mean, he's looking at college and stuff now and everything, but he's not going to Twitter. But he does have an Instagram.
Right, you might have a Snap as well, or something like that.
Seamless to just go to Threads, and it's.
I feel like Twitter's always been for celebrities and people like that, like where they can just post what they want to and then ghost, right?
Yeah, and in sports, because like Kevin Durant, like they were already talking about they're talking about burner accounts, his Thread burner accounts.
Oh, really?
Like, because he makes burner accounts and he just argues with fans. Kevin Durant, like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you should look into it. It's hilarious. He just
funny.
argues with fans. He's just a sensitive athlete, but he's one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah.
But he's just arguing with people that like are naysayers of him, and he just argues like with fake accounts, and he just fights with people once they find out it's him, and he just does it.
That's funny.
Well, now there's some issues with that. One of the big news stories with Threads is that if you delete your Threads account and you've tied it with your Instagram, it deletes your Instagram as well. So
they'll have to fix
Catch-22.
Yeah,
they'll fix that, right?
No, bro. Of course they're not going to. They're gonna. Why would they? Because they don't want to lose any followers. So instead of deactivating your Threads, you click on Threads to try it out, and then you just delete the app. You don't deregister. So now they didn't lose a follower, right? They didn't lose a user, not a follower, but a user, and then their numbers still look good. That's genius on their part.
Yeah, I just think of that. I think of it in the sense of these companies are at the level of professionalism as they're at, and once you get to a certain point, like you have a level of like expectation, and you should be able to separate them and their entities, and that makes it broadens and will bring some more serious like people into it, because they feel like, hey, I have some control over it, rather than it just being connected and I feel all trapped in the system. I think these companies are smart enough to know they don't want people to be trapped and feel trapped in entrapment with their social media. You know what I mean? So maybe Threads doesn't work for someone. They're like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want it anymore. Eventually, they're going to have to separate it. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me to...
My thought process
long
is
term.
like, you've seen this like war sort of with words and tweets and just social media between Zuckerberg and Musk, right? Like, have you been following that?
Dude, it's going to be... I hope they get at it.
Do you think they're going to actually fight?
I mean, they're going to have to at this point.
I wouldn't be surprised
Cat's out of the bag.
if a random drop of a celebrity death match between those two dropping this time. So like
that would be so smart, bro. If MTV jumped in on it and said we're gonna do a celebrity death match of Elon Musk and Zuckerberg,
it would take
and brought
heat.
the celebrity death match back.
It would put heat on them, but also kind of take it off for some time. That would be a smart play for them, just because like that would do so well on the internet. They could drop it. They could partner with Netflix or Amazon or someone and just drop a.
Well, I think they're partnering with the UFC.
Yeah,
You know, Dana White's
it's a done deal.
Oh, I know.
bro.
But they were talking about fighting overseas.
Italy, bro.
Italy,
in the Coliseum.
Yeah, like come on, man, that's like next level. So, but I mean,
bro, can you imagine that? All right, here's this is my like perfect stew, right? So Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, they both fight in the Coliseum, but then there's a whole group of people in the front row that have the AI, the new
Vision Pros.
Vision Pros.
That's sick.
So
Yeah, I see where you're at with
we
that.
can tap in and we can sit front row in the Coliseum and watch them fight. Like that's what I'm talking about. And then the winner's got to fight a Bengal tiger.
There we go.
Yeah,
Step
in
it
the
up.
Coliseum.
Yes.
Right afterwards.
yeah,
Tired and bloody. He's got to fight a Bengal tiger. While Chad Ochocinco's on the sideline with a fur coat.
yeah. Kicking
It would
field,
be
That's
like
the
that.
perfect stew, bro.
kicking field goals.
But do you think that guy that did those clay figures is even around anymore for Celebrity Deathmatch? Like that's something that think about how much work that has to be, bro.
Well, with AI, they could probably do it much easier.
And that's the thing, is AI going to look? Will it look the same? Because they definitely looked clay. They were molded, and you know, when their faces smashed, like they got smashed.
yeah,
That was the best part about the
That
clay
was.
figures.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think AI could replicate it very easily, and I think the internet would love it, and it would take.
Let's put it out there, bro. MTV. Let's do a Mark
Go.
Zuckerberg, Elon Musk celebrity death match. Let's make it happen, dude.
Please.
That would be insane. So who do you got on that fight?
I think I'm going with Zuckerberg, probably just because he has been working out. We talked about off camera. He's been doing his thing, and Elon Musk.
He's been doing his thing for a long time.
Yeah, and I feel like Zuckerberg is just like. He had to go at Congress. He had to go at the government. He had to go at he's been through some battles, man. So I think he's battle tested. So I'm gonna go with Zuckerberg on that one.
All right, Brock, what do you got, man? Who do you got?
It's tough, like for a true fight. I mean, with words this week, you saw Elon Musk not only file a cease and desist against Threads, saying that it infringed on their software.
I didn't know that.
Okay,
And
that's
I
what
can-
they said.
I can definitely see it though.
But then on Twitter, okay, I got Snopes up. Did Musk tweet about Zuckerberg? I propose a literal dick measuring contest. Okay, and fact check was correctly attributed to Elon Musk. So I think these two guys just know the pinnacle of the hype cycle.
Yeah.
They're super wealthy. They're the most wealthy young entrepreneurs in the world, and they're trying to stake their claim in dominance.
Oh yeah.
I don't know their weight class. I feel like Elon Musk has to be bigger.
Yeah, I was thinking. I think the weight that was I was where I was on the fringe with it, but I think Zuckerberg's been training for a long time.
I mean,
right?
bro, he's been doing MMA for years.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's
So yeah, his training for a while. So you don't just. I mean, you start to learn things naturally in there. If Elon Musk is training, Zuckerberg's got years on him in this sense. Because I mean, I saw pictures of Elon Musk not that long ago. It looked like he hadn't seen the sun in a while, and he'd gotten a little bigger. So that's one of those things where if you're not in that training, where Zuckerberg has been in Zuckerberg's he's got some freedom in his life for a while since since Facebook initiated. So we're talking he's had this time to be able to defend himself.
Yeah.
He
has a
and so
jiu-jitsu sort of set up in his garage.
yeah.
So he's committed.
So-
I wouldn't want to fight someone that's been training.
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
not something
So-
you're going to luck into.
Yeah. But a celebrity death match, they're gonna put some other stuff in it. They're gonna put some
oh, bro,
bring a book out and
well,
right to the side or something.
Well, Zuckerberg's he's always been a fencer, bro. He's been a phenomenal fencer.
Fencer?
So he did it in college and everything. So I mean, he already knows distance, how to distance himself from his opponent, right? But I could definitely see the end of the death match where Zuckerberg gets a sword and chops Elon Musk's head off. Now, like
a rocket ship comes out and
Right.
Elon Musk
The
is like
boring
on
machine.
the rocket.
bro, that's
Comes
bro,
out.
This will be such a good celebrity death match, dude. We've got to make it happen.
The flamethrower that he had.
The flamethrower,
Yes,
bro.
yes.
Like everything would be so dope on that, man. We MTV, you've got to make this happen, dude. I personally, I want Elon Musk to win because like everything he's doing, like I support the Tesla and you know the all the energy shit that he's doing. But Zuckerberg's gonna whoop his ass, dude.
Yeah.
He's gonna whoop his ass. He is in such good shape, man. And like you said, like Zuck is basically on autopilot right now. I mean, I'm sure he's not. I'm sure he's got a ton of swords in the fire, you know. But you don't like Elon Musk is working 24 hours a day, bro. He's sleeping at the warehouse, right? Like
Yeah.
he doesn't have time to train. He doesn't have time to work out. Like this is something that's in Zuckerberg's daily routine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like obviously I give it up to Elon Musk for even like saying if he wants to fight, we'll make it happen. You know, because like you said, bro, he's smart. He's so smart that he knows that it'll be well. He did say for charity. So he said, yeah, if he wants to fight, I'll fight for him for charity. So then it becomes not like a death match. It becomes
Right.
No punching in the face. One of those like, Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. like, what do they call that? Exhibition match. Yeah, just an exhibition.
Yeah, don't give him
Tyrell,
any
who do you
brain-
have? Who do you have? He's here. What up? What up, dude?
T Cobb in the
Listen.
building.
What's up? Deadpool Stan?
I gotta go with Jay. It would be interesting to see Elon win because of what he has in his background, what he's trying to build, and this crazy life that he's creating. But realistically, Zuck's gonna knock him out if they take it that far. If they do the Triller fight like Mike Tyson did, it's gonna be an interesting couple bouts. It's gonna be something. They're gonna come out. Everybody's gonna get paid. Yada yada yada. But if they took it to the death, Zuck's gonna come out with bloody hands and he's gonna walk out. He's gonna win. Like that's just how it's gonna be. I seen that photo, man. He's training with some of the best in the world right now. Like that was scary. I'm like, Zuck was the skinny, weird white dude that he was like, oh yeah, I made Facebook. Now he's on another level. Like to see him
bro.
look like that.
If you
Gosh.
haven't seen the picture, go to Deadpool Stan on Instagram.
I
You'll find
posted
it
that
there.
bad boy. Zuck's looking ripped, bro. He's ready to fight. He's ready to fight somebody.
Yeah.
Like Elon ain't gonna be his only person. He gonna fight somebody else.
Yeah. What about
Damn.
Jeff Bezos? Like he's looking jacked.
Hey.
He
Bro.
wasn't looking jacked like that in the 90s.
No, he's looking like Lex Luthor, like a villain in a superhero movie, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta
it's-
get that bag.
Dude, it's because they now know that they're in the space of social media. So they know they're now going to be on the tabloids in the social media more often than they would have been when they were behind the scenes guys. So like now they are in this era where not just photos being taken, but like they are at conventions doing speeches. They are doing things more so because now they're in the limelight. You got to work out. You
Yeah.
got to go to the gym. Man.
I don't think that's it, bro. I think once you've made that much money, you're like, I want to live as long as I fucking can.
could be it too.
Right, so
Longevity.
I'm gonna
But yeah,
cut out the
for
bullshit.
sure.
I'm
I
gonna
get
make
too.
sure that this engine keeps running.
I think there's a little bit of both because
He was also
they-
freshly single.
True. And you gotta look good when people see you and you're single, man. But like, I do think that if they're going to be more in the face of their brands rather than just Facebook being Facebook. Because like back in the day, we had Tom from MySpace.
And
I remember
we
talking-
only knew him from one
We just
photo,
knew
bro.
from Tom from MySpace from one photo. Like no one ever got to really know Tom.
My first friend, bro.
Right, my first. Yeah, here. Shout out to Tom. Here's to
Hey.
Tom. Tom, man.
Tom from MySpace, man.
Tom from MySpace, man. Like, it's the thing is like now these guys are taking the faces of what they're doing. Like SpaceX, like Elon is like he is the face of what's happening. So I do think them working in bettering themselves, obviously going to live longer, but putting that time in the gym and putting that next level like into your body, like I do think there is some merit to like, hey, I know I'm going to be the face of things now, and I'm going to be in history books. I want to look at least something like reasonable, like, because I don't want to, like, because I'm going to be sitting at a desk, because Elon Musk probably sits at a desk, 20 hours, 15 hours to 20 hours a day doing stuff, just focused, and then probably takes a walk. Probably they have to remind, I don't know, I'm sure his assistant, like, hey, it's your time to stop, kind of a thing. Stop me when, like NFL coaches always have the guy on the sideline.
I don't think Elon Musk even has a computer, bro. I think he's already got Neuralink.
Oh, I bet.
Jumped in there. He's just walking around the warehouse,
like
bro.
Iron Man,
yeah.
like Tony Stark, like on the wall, like just moving it around, and just I kind of envision that too. But like that's the thing is, but like who stops him from stopping to work? Who's the guy that's on keeping the coach from going on the football field? Because you see those guys are like, hey guy, like hey, I just keeping you from going on there. You don't even know where the line's at. Like I'm sure they've got these guys in place, but I do think the working out has something to do with they are the faces of things now. They are these people, yeah.
I mean, you obviously you don't want to see a photo of yourself on TMZ where you look overweight or hungover.
They get you on the boat.
They get you on the boat with your hair slicked back, with your stomach sticking out.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he came in, like his photos have come up so many times. We're like, what happened to Arnold? And then he came back looking better than ever. Like the people, it's just,
Arnold is still Arnold. Just saying. That man can look sloppy, but he's still Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. You ain't gonna fight him, so.
Oh, you ain't gonna fight him.
Bro, I have heard from so many people that Arnold Schwarzenegger is the greatest human being, and that he matches your energy when you meet him. If you're like, holy shit, Arnold Schwarzenegger, what's going on? He's like, he just matches that and like hits you back with that same energy, dude.
Yeah, that's all.
And that's it's like one of those things, man, where you get to that point where you're such a big celebrity. Like we were talking about Joe Burrow. And now he went to the white party out in the Hamptons, and like a lot of the Bengals fans around here, like, nah. Gary Owen was like, dude, that ain't it. Like, I don't want to see Joe Burrow at these white parties. Like my quarterback needs to stay home. He needs to be watching films. Like the lineman can go, the running back can go, the wide receivers can go, but my quarterback needs to stay here. He's like, and if anything happens to him, like I'm calling Michael Rubin up myself, and cussing him out for it, man.
Have you guys ever been to the Hamptons?
Have not, man. I've made clothes for a hotel over there, but I never had a chance to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like in college, I went to Stony Brook University, and when I was in college and a little bit after, I started doing black car service, like in the Hamptons. So I drive like SUVs, right, out there. So like, I don't fault Burrow for going. Like, if you can go to a white party in the Hamptons behind the hedges, you probably should do it. It's probably a good time.
Everybody was there.
And big time. So I remember meeting so many people. Like P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean,
dude,
like whatever you'd call him in that like corporate, Sean Combs in that like.
I called him Puff Daddy last night, and Aslan's like, "Who's Puff Daddy?" And Kayla goes, "Diddy," and Kayla or Aslan was like, "Oh, okay." Like as we were listening to one of the songs pop up on the radio, but yeah, man,
many aliases.
One of the first selfies I ever took is when Android phones sort of came out. So right after the iPhone, I got an Android device. I needed it, had navigation on it, so it was awesome, right? My first selfie ever was with LL Cool J, and I was at this party that like I went with the team that owned True Religion jeans and their brand, right? So they were making power music at this time. So super cool group. They made really great music. Unfortunately, they didn't like really pop off. They did have a song with Snoop that was about Patron and a few other things like this. So they had some music. I was with them the whole week, and they took me around. They were like, Chris, why don't you dress like down, just dress normal, and just come with us. So we went to like the Hamptons Polo Classic. We went to a really cool party where like Russell Simmons was there, Rihanna was there, like LL Cool J, all these people, and like it was just a really cool event. So I don't fault Burrow for going.
Right,
like, how late did he stay? Maybe a question, or like where was the after party? Maybe keep him from that.
I gotta say something on that. I don't fault him for going because everybody else in the team was out partying, celebrating, and he was hyper focused. I just say it's a matter of what you're doing when you're at the party. He was flexing, he was taking pictures, but are we gonna see in 2 weeks a photo of Burrow drunk, laid out? No, we're not gonna see that.
Right.
What are you doing while you're there? Because the media still watches. When you leave your house, the media is watching you, period. So what are you doing when you're at these events? That's what I say. Because Joe Burrow, the city's watching him every single day. So he's got to take your pictures, have your fun, go back home.
Yeah, and don't sign a contract with somebody else to leave us. That's the main thing when you get up to New York.
Right, dude. We were talking about that earlier. How the Yankees always steal all the Reds players.
We were just talking
literally
about
just talking about that. That's
Sean
funny,
Casey, right, is like the new batting coach.
That's how we got on the subject, bro.
Yeah.
Sean Casey's new batting coach. They stole Aaron Boone. They stole
Paul O'Neill.
Yeah, they stole
Todd Frazier. They had gotten him like
Roldis
Several
Chapman.
pitchers. Several pitchers over the last 20 years.
Yeah, they just snatch them up. They can pay more money, and we in Cincinnati.
We're willing to accept money for good players.
Yeah. Well, we give away the good players, but now things have changed, and we're repping it right now. Look at
dude,
it.
I really hope.
Check that out. Yeah, De La Cruz, dude.
Right here, nice shirt.
Man, good, man.
I really hope that the Castellinis just double down on the money that the team is bringing in, because at the beginning of the season, dude, like we already kind of tossed it off as like Joey Votto and India were the only two players that we knew. But Deuces came in. He's the Jumbotron guy at the games. He gets to like bring people on Jumbotron and hype up the crowd and stuff. And he was saying like all these new players, he's like, they all want to interact with the crowd. He's like, some of these players, they want to get T-shirts made and they want to be able to promote themselves, because like they're so young and they're just fresh in the game, and they want Cincinnati baseball to be fun again. So when he said that, he was talking about Friedel and specifically, and actually he was talking about India as well, and how fun that dude is, and how he just wants to get people down to the stadium.
Yeah.
And they did exactly what they needed to do, bro. Like I could be the jerseys, could be De La Cruz.
Definitely De La Cruz. He's definitely biggest.
Cruz
It
in
has
India.
There's a reason it started when he was brought up. Like as soon as he's into the lineup, this team has literally.
Was it that or the black jerseys, bro? Those black jerseys are gonna be tough to wear in August, man.
It's true.
There was a whole episode on Seinfeld on this.
Yes, right.
Did you ever see that episode of Seinfeld, bro, where George Costanza was working for the Yankees? And he walks into the locker room and the players are all sweaty. He's like, "What are you sweaty for?" He's like, "Man, these polyester jerseys, it harnesses all the heat." And so George Costanza makes a stand to say, let's make cotton jerseys for everybody. It's lighter on the field, it's more breathable. First game out, Yankees killed it. Second game out, they're all having trouble playing because all their jerseys shrunk and nothing fits. But yeah, bro, like that was one of the, and if you ever played baseball too, if you have like a polyester jersey, that shit just makes you sweat, bro.
And that's
not as bad as wool from the 20s.
Sure.
That shit's for the birds, bro.
Right. But the thing with the jerseys now, they have a standard that they have to keep to be an official jersey, but they've got it down. The colorway is unmatched. Like we have some of the coolest jerseys. The Bengals and the Reds now have some of the coolest jerseys. So both teams in Cincinnati are top 5 jerseys in my opinion. And even if I didn't like per se the Reds or the Bengals in Cincinnati sports, I would still think the whiteout Bengals jerseys are something we have. They're just
dope,
straight up. And then there's the Cincy, this thing is just, this style is just so clean. It kind of like an Iron Man look a little.
Yeah.
Like that vibe, you know what I mean? I was watching the third one on TV the other day, just scrolling through. I was like, oh, Iron Man, nice. And third one, I was like, cool. But I looked at it, I was like, you know what? That's kind of like that vibe of just it's fresh. And then De La Cruz, man, that dude is quickly becoming a legend,
household name, real
period,
fast,
in
bro.
the whole entire league. Every time I watch any sports network, they're like, "Oh yeah, they're having fun in Cincinnati over there with Cruz." They just throw it into the conversation, and then they continue on with the topics that are happening. But they just all are giving Cincinnati a nod, all of them. So,
bro, that Viking stuff, they're just having fun, and that's the way baseball should be played, bro. You need to have fun doing it, right?
Yeah.
And something else, man. The Reds have always had fire jerseys, bro. They were the first ones to bring out sleeveless jerseys in the game. When they did that, I felt like a Yankee, bro. Like when the Reds came out with the sleeveless jersey and you can just wear a black T-shirt underneath it, like that shit. Like I was like, this, you're allowed to wear, like players are allowed to wear sleeveless jerseys. Like, are they going against the rules? Like I felt like such a bad boy, bro, when I had my Deion Sanders cut off jersey, dude.
You know, who used to like King Griffey Jr. used to wear the jerseys the coolest.
Oh, always.
Like
he does everything the coolest.
He is the coolest. Like literally, just is. He still is the coolest.
Yeah.
Like
he's still getting paid like he's the coolest too.
He is getting paid like he's the coolest. It's amazing, and he's deserving of it, man. He literally, we still are talking about and he wasn't even peak here. He was Seattle still, and we're still talking about what he did here. It's insane. Like he is just transcendent, and he's paid a lot of money, and no, it'll end eventually. But like, dude, like King Griffey wore the jersey the coolest, had the coolest swing, unexplainable how he could hit the ball as well as he did with that kind of a swing, and like, I mean, I don't know, it's just
you know
cool.
what, you know what's crazy, bro? Last week, I saw one of the Instagram like MLB pages. They posted, how cool would it be if the MLB changed their logo to the Ken Griffey logo? And I'm like, I'm looking at it going, I fucking created that logo, dude. Like it didn't have the diamond in the ear, so it's like, okay, that wasn't my logo, but like not only did I create that logo a year ago, but we printed that logo on T-shirts and sold those bitches, right? And now, just last week, they're like, wouldn't it be cool if Ken Griffey silhouette was the Major League logo? And it was literally spot on with the hat backwards, with the, you know.
If they do that, if they were to change the logo to King Griffey, I guarantee you the NBA would be real quick to go ahead and change Jerry West to Kobe Bryant. Yeah. Because in that time, because if baseball does it first, that's much easier to accept. Because people are afraid of, like, we've talked about fear on this episode a couple of times. I guess it's a theme here. I liked your acronym. That was...
False evidence appearing real. Huh?
That was cool, man. That was so smooth. I saw
him.
My
His
facial
eyes light
expression
up,
was like, oh, okay, I see you. But like the fear of changing the logo to Kobe Bryant, it shouldn't be feared. Kobe, rest in peace, and giving him his shine like that is deserving. So I don't think it should be feared, but everyone's afraid to just let go. Jerry West already gave his approval. So,
bro,
like,
do you know how much money and the NBA would make if they did that? First of all, every jersey that had Jerry West logo is now basically going to be retired. So they're going to be able to sell every jersey that's in the stores, because you're not going to be able to get the Jerry West jersey anymore. It's going to be labeled the Jerry West jersey.
Yeah.
And then when the Kobe jerseys come out, there's going to be an influx of people that want to buy that to have the first version of the Kobe logo. Yeah. Like it's such a power move if there's nobody that's going to be complaining about it. And the only person that you should worry about complaining about it would be Jerry West.
And he already said he's not. He understands the new age is going to become the new age, right. And they're going to forget about the old players eventually. It's just going to happen. Like they're going to just be like, oh, it's on the just the black and white. That's what they were. But like these guys were. There's guys that stood above the rest. Jerry West, he was not the peak athlete, but he crushed. He's amazing. Like the Lakers, like he's great.
Had a long career.
Yeah, and like the thing is like they don't know that, but like he understands that he's gonna go. He's like time is gonna come, and like, but Kobe's legacy is, I mean, he's gonna live in the like metaphorical and little clouds. He's gonna be in this iconic space as time continues to progress.
Right.
And him being the logo is perfect. There is not another, because like we always talk about Jordan being, you know, GOAT conversation or whatever, but like Jordan, like his fandom is different than Kobe's. Like people aren't Kobe fans
beyond the NBA.
Kobe's fans aren't necessarily care two shits about the Lakers. They are Kobe Bryant fans. It's like that culture. I don't know if you know much about it. But it's Kobe Bryant.
Sure. I follow like basketball.
Yeah,
so I think Michael Jordan's logo is definitely more iconic. But you probably couldn't buy it from the Jordan Nike brand.
Exactly.
Yeah, he wouldn't give that up to anybody.
Yeah, but to be on every uniform is one thing. But like, Kobe Bryant, you know, like he affected so many things, and he also impacted women's basketball. So like, he not only was a person for, you know, being that mama mentality, but like he is here, you know, pushing the narrative for these women are out here doing the same thing we're doing. It's just a different game. Check it out. And like the women's basketball has shot up. They're getting better pay. They're working towards. I mean, it's just a process, and Kobe really put that into play. So his support, I think, is worthy of something of that magnitude, and I'm all support for it.
Well,
so
when it happens, I'm sure it's going to happen in Vegas. Have you seen their new stadium that they've built? This new LED super like round globe that they can
I saw
like
the basketball.
We
the
left,
summer league.
We were. I was in Vegas last week, bro, and they turned it on the night that we left. So like we got to take Aslan down there. Which, by the way, dude, like you can take a kid to Vegas and everybody can have a blast without doing anything
like
21 or
restriction.
over. Yeah, bro. Like with Meow Wolf, that's there now. So Meow Wolf is like an interactive. It's like this store on steroids, right? It's like an interactive art installation, and there's so much to do there that you can spend 2 days just in the building. And the cool thing is you can go in and you can experience Meow Wolf for free. And then if you want to do this experience, or if you want to do Omega Mart, like each thing costs $8 or $25 or whatever. Like, but Aslan and Kalen, like they both got to fly like birds. They had this AI thing where you're sitting on this, you're laying on your stomach, and it's literally like you got to flap your wings like a bird, and you turn your arms like this, you go up, you turn them like that, you go down. And you can choose like what you want to do. So like Aslan wanted to be a butterfly. So she's a butterfly flying around the forest with all these other bugs. And Kaylin wanted to be in like the dinosaur pterodactyl. So she's flying around pterodactyls with and she's got the headset on. So everything she sees is like she feels like she's flying. They've got like a fan that blows on your face so you feel like you're flying through the wind. It was $8, dude.
Dude, they had this. You could do that at Cincinnati Museum Center.
Yeah.
And like in the dinosaur one, they had that same thing. I didn't do it. I have Charlie, so I'm not stopping for that. But like,
you should let Charlie do. That'd be crazy.
There's a high limit. Because when I take her to the museum center, there's always different events happening. There's Lego stuff happening there and stuff. But they had like a dinosaur exhibit, and they had like you get on it, and the same thing. I wouldn't stick around too long because each time I'd go by, there was never anyone on it because it costs money and people want to spend or whatever. But like, that's pretty cool though, because like that's just like stuff like that is like Vegas has always been doing like you got to be that age to even have a good time. And I like when I went there was like we were on there for a little bit of time, so because we drove from LA and back, but like we were over 21, so it wasn't a big deal. But a buddy of ours that was back, he's like, I'm not even going to go with y'all because I'm 21, I can't have fun there. And we're like, all right, like that's cool, you stick here and we'll be back, whatever. So we left. But like the thing is now if you have something like Meow Wolf, which is really, if I'm going to Vegas now, like in my current life, instead of doing music and trying to promote myself, if I'm going there for like seeing what cool experiences they're doing and how I can bring some of the influence back here and see how we can do better. That's where I'm at, rather than promoting myself and doing anything. I'm there, hey, what are the coolest people and the smartest people and the most innovative people on the planet doing at the most, right now, pinnacle of what America is at right now is put everything in Vegas. Everything's one of their sports teams. Everyone, I mean, they're talking like Oakland Athletics might end up in Vegas. Like, so everyone is just going to go there, and that's just going to be, everyone's going to the desert. I guess that's the plan. So I'm down to go find out where these people are doing there. So hopefully soon, I would like to go there and check out Meow Wolf and a Mega Mart, and I want to get me a box of something random. That cat food, wolf food. I don't even know what it was.
The wolf for the new toss and run pack. Yeah.
See if Tyrell can grab it for us in a second. But
they always do cool stuff down there, man. But that's so. When it comes to Vegas too, man, like it's not just Meow Wolf. There's a million things to do down there, and that what is it like? It's like a dome. It's like they put $2.3 billion to make this thing, and it doesn't even look real, bro. It looks like when they showed the basketball, it was like it looks like a. I don't even know.
Like I have a basketball.
I don't even know how wide it is. That thing, because like when you see the highway, like this thing looks like it's probably like 120 cars long. Like, it's literally huge, bro.
Is it like the size of Disney World's Epcot?
Probably bigger.
Bigger than that thing? Because I think
It's only
massive.
half. It's only half the size. It's cut right down the middle, so it's only the top half. But so, like, I don't even know. Is it
It's
so?
called the Sphere.
The Sphere, yeah.
Sphere?
And so,
Okay.
is it an actual like gymnasium? So in like it.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like a full like concert venue, stadium, maybe basketball can be played inside. Concerts.
It's insane, bro.
That's interesting.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
wait till you see the video of it. Just because that ball is just floating and it's just slowly rotating. It's crazy. Like, they had fireworks for the 4th of July that were coming off that thing, but like, it's literally it's the size of a stadium. It's just the dome of a stadium. It's that big.
amazing.
Yeah.
So that's where Kobe's logo is going to be when they launch it at the NBA. I'm certain. You
Yeah.
wouldn't go anywhere else.
Yeah, for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah,
man.
for sure. And then, I mean, that thing can bring a world of possibilities, because like they can put any image, right? They can do whatever they want. Period. So they could literally do like Starry Night on
Damn,
it.
his
They could
hair
do-
is long.
It
bro.
is. I was had a double take there. Like doing like a whole Starry Night like thing, and just what they could do with that thing is going to be.
Dude, can you imagine like a
concert,
They're,
like,
they're gonna do
watch it
snow
from a-
globes during Christmas time.
Christmas,
It's gonna be
yeah.
the craziest looking shit you've
Yeah.
ever seen in your entire life. It's not gonna look. It's gonna be like, there's no way this thing is physically in front of me. It looks
Yeah.
like a hologram.
I don't know, like, can you imagine just like them displaying with like a space, and like how like a black hole works? Have you seen those videos of how like the renditions of it? Can you do that? Like, man, there's the possibilities. Because the basketball's cool. I saw it on the summer league. Actually, I saw like they were promoting it, whatever. And we got Wemby now, the draft pick to the Spurs, and he's crazy. So we're gonna talk about him soon on the podcast. But like, the summer league's cool because like that's in Vegas, or they did part of the games in Vegas, whatever, because they're about to start the tournament, and they go through all like the wins or whatever. But like, they kept, every time they turned around on the broadcast, back to that ball, back to that ball, back to the ball, and before you know it, it's gonna have a big old Kobe logo, the NBA there, and it's gonna happen, dude. I'm telling you, Jerry West is. The time is coming soon. I'm telling you, it's gonna be Kobe Bryant's gonna be. Because he's on NBA 2K24.
Okay.
Yep. So this year 2K24, he is on it. So that's
Well.
happening, and it's a cross one too. So I think they're doing it so it's you can like combine men's and women's
Okay.
on the game. Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
So-
My son's playing video games now. We just got him the show. For
Oh,
his
did you?
birthday. Yeah,
Nice.
so
Show's
Oh,
fun,
dope.
bro.
yeah, he's been playing that
Let's go.
quite a bit, trying to figure that out.
Yeah,
and
nice.
crushing it. So
Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
PlayStation.
But it's crazy that they just learn how to play Madden. They learn all the rules to the game. Then they go into the show. They learn it. Y2K, like they just learn the rules to certain games. We've got FIFA. We even got like a couple other games that like now they're able to like play, understand the players. Like he knows so many players on every team. It just blows my mind.
Yeah.
So they just like pick it up like a sponge.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean that's a good way to think about it too, man. Because when you're playing these games as a kid, like when Griffey comes up to bat, like cranking home runs. So you do get a good, because like I've been buying baseball cards for the past baseball and basketball cards for the past, I don't know, like 3 weeks or so. Like I used to buy them all the time, and I knew every single player in the league, dude. And now it's like I don't know a single player in any of these cards that I got, and like unless they're from Cincinnati, like even some of the Cincinnati players I didn't know.
Yeah.
But it's like, when it comes to those games, like you learn, because it's like they all have their their strengths, right? So some of these players are faster than others, and like playing those games, you learn that shit so quick, and then all of a sudden you start learning the players, and then it's like that's a good introduction to the games, right? Because like you were saying, like now they know the rules. Like if I don't know the rules of soccer, you know what I mean? I know a little bit about it, but like
Yeah. Get down to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
People complain because they don't know like offsides and all the different aspects of the game. But like, I was actually thinking with this conversation too is it impacts the fantasy end of things, fantasy sports, fantasy football, fantasy, because like that teaches people how to do it too. That teaches people who to look for, what they do. Like fantasy sports and the
Right.
games are very like they coincide because they're just it's all stats.
Right.
Especially baseball. Baseball's a stats game. Like no one gets penalized for winning or losing championships in baseball. It just doesn't happen. It's a sport. It's a stats. We know how many home runs someone did. Like how many championships. They could have 5 championships and not even be considered a top 10 of their position ever.
Right.
Right.
And someone else can have no championships and be considered a top 3.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's just about their statistical outcome. So like,
And then when it comes to fantasy, you need to know the future, right? You need
future.
you need to predict what's going to
what's
happen.
gonna happen, yeah, and just other trends and who they're playing against, and if they're playing in. A lot of times, you always should consider if they're playing in Denver or not, like in any sport. 'Cause
High altitude,
high altitude
yeah.
affects their game
Changes
and
the
all.
game.
Man, like I said before, my cousin Mike Rizzo, the guy that works for Better, the betting app now.
Yeah.
Dude,
Familiar.
he knew
Yep.
everything about sports, man. He knew if the quarterback's dog was sick, if he broke
Yeah.
up with his girlfriend,
Yeah.
he knew everything that like you shouldn't know. Like yo, Tom Brady's having trouble with the
I was
wifey.
about to say that. Yeah,
right?
when he was having issues, there was definitely infected the line.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and it's like those things you don't think about when you see a 2.5 point spread. Yeah. But
this year I think like it was probably a decade ago. I did some fantasy football leagues and with some buddies, and computers had just really come out, or like if you were savvy, you could use them. Right, they've been around for a while, but I could use it during fantasy, and I remember just crushing my first like 2 or 3 years, and then everyone started using computers and like getting like a little bit more predictive analytics
Right.
on their choices. Now I think that you couldn't really use ChatGPT quite yet because
I was just gonna
they're
say,
turning it
bro.
off the AI for like Bing search, but I think Bard would be wide open. So if you have a fantasy league and you want to dominate, you might want to go to like Google Bard, sign up, and I bet it would help you along the way, like designing your strategy for your picks.
I may.
That would be, bro. So this, we're gonna sit you guys down. You're gonna learn everything about it. You're gonna start a fantasy league, and you're gonna call it AI by AI. That's gonna be your team name.
Okay.
There we go.
You don't pick anything. You just let the computer pick, and then you say, okay, this is how I think it's gonna go, but you let the computer ride the whole thing.
Cool. Let's do it. I'm totally down.
How crazy! Like, how dope would that be if the computer like chose the correct March Madness?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
to a T.
Like 68 team, it just knows based on like everything about those players, like where they come up in who they played against and knowing the matchups, because all these guys played each other in previous leagues.
Right.
They just choose a college to go to. So because the AAU circuit, but now everyone's going G League, so there's things changing in basketball too. But like that would be amazing. Then in picking a fantasy team on point, I mean, like when I go about it, I usually am I'm pretty strategic with my stats and just making sure I'm getting guys with bye weeks that are later in the season and just stuff like that.
Sure.
But that's just how I play the game. But I've won leagues before. Actually, I won an ESPN league, and they send me a T-shirt.
No football
Nice.
phone, bro. Oh, that's Sports Illustrated.
Oh right, no, they said ESPN sent me you're a fantasy football champion, and it was on this side. It was cool. It was a medium I can't wear anymore, but like I got it back. It's like 2000, and I went like 2000 and I don't know, it was 2015.
So all I
or
gave you was a
something.
T-shirt. Huh? I could
All they gave me
have
is
done
T-shirt.
that for you.
Yeah, well, we weren't even connected really at that point, but yeah, like I could have. Yeah, they sent me a T-shirt, but I won the whole league, and it was like a strange. No one knew each other. We were all in it.
That happened to me in Chicago, bro. Back when NBA Jam first came out for the Super Nintendo, I think it was. Blockbuster had this big tournament, and it was an NBA Jam tournament, and I won for the whole like not Chicago region, but like so there was different regions in Chicago, but I won like our like town or whatever, so I got to compete in the next one.
That's cool.
All I won was a large pizza from Domino's and a T-shirt. Yeah.
At least you got a pizza.
Yeah.
They used to give us pizzas just if we read a book. Like, remember that program?
Book it, bro. Let's
Oh,
go.
let's-
Let's go. I was just at Pizza Hut the other day, and I bought a mini ball, bro. They had mini basketballs for sale. I was like, copping that. Let's
Yeah,
go.
let's go.
That was my dream, man. Like when I was a kid, book it. You did well in school, and then you get to bring that down, and then they give you your own personal pizza, and then you can buy a basketball for $7. Yeah,
Nice,
dude, those were the days,
Those
man.
were the yeah.
So when it comes to AI, bro, like what is, what's your it's been implemented into movies for a long time, right? But is there like a favorite AI movie from back in the day, or is there something new that's come up that's just blown you out of the water with the AI technology?
So I've had a couple flights lately, so I've seen 2001: A Space Odyssey. That is long and painstaking to watch, but has a good sort of commentary on AI. I watched this show called Megan, this doll that gets AI generation built into her, and then she protects her her person in a way that's too defensive.
Right.
So that's been interesting. But my favorite is old school, probably Short Circuit. Johnny 5 was by far my favorite AI implementation of all time. Need more input. I think that's very similar how we see AIs trained when Johnny 5 was in Stephanie's house, was I need more input, just tearing through her books really fast.
Oh shit, I didn't even think about that, man. As a kid, you don't realize what he's doing.
Yeah, he was
That's
teaching,
dope.
learning, almost like a large language model. Just I can see that being how they taught these AIs. Just keep dumping in books, and this thing just said more input. Just keep dropping it on me.
Yeah, just keep going. Yeah, keep the information flowing on me, and I'll just take it all in forever and ever. But the movie aspect, do you think that because we have those past situations, do you think that they're going to update our imagery of what we see is really happening?
Well, I think
because we have an envision in the past, it was more visionary type of thing. Now we're experiencing it, and we had iRobot and different movies that kind of did that, controlling if things go wrong and the robots turn red. Now you know what I mean. You think the imagery is going to be updated soon, or are they going to put that in this, or what's going to happen even further?
I think it's going to be easy to imagine where AI is going to go. When they say AI, I don't really love the term AGI, artificial general intelligence. That usually means an autonomous robot, like a Terminator. Do you create Terminator or iRobot that's going to come and kill everybody and enslave us all? I don't really think that's the way it's even going to go at all. We're nowhere near that now. I was just at MIT 2 weeks ago. They can't even figure out robots that have the dexterity of your hands. Yeah, so we're far away from having true AI, in the sense that it's going to be intentional and autonomous and self-creating and replicating. So I hope that's not the path we're ever going to go down. I think we're smart enough as people to keep it in its place where it's just a tool set. But
it only takes one bad egg.
No,
and
bro.
one guy that's going to ruin it for everyone and do something ridiculous because he has the brains and has the money. And that's why I think it just takes one, right?
Here we go, bro. I've got the solution to the entire thing.
Get it.
You know that one spot on your back that you can't scratch?
Yes.
That's where
back
the on-off
scratcher.
button goes.
The on-off button.
that works.
That's it, bro. That's it. The robot can't reach it. The robot's trying to, you know what I mean? You shut it off and the robot can't turn himself back on, bro.
There should definitely be a kill switch that's
Yep, for
operated
sure.
by a person,
Yeah.
even at the data centers. And there's stuff that you probably shouldn't connect to the internet or to an AI.
Right.
And there's probably things that there's different levels of AI that people should build. But I mean, you see the stuff out of Boston Dynamics. You see these robo dogs that can be utilized.
It's
and
weaponry.
Weaponry, yeah. It's also protective. If you have a military base or if you have a facility that people shouldn't go in, people fall asleep all the time. Security guards fell all the time, and people get right up to a location
Jeffrey
they shouldn't be
Epstein,
able to
they
get
were
to.
able to kill him because everyone's asleep.
Yeah,
Quote unquote.
There's a lot of security
I
camera.
seen him in Lebanon last week.
There's a lot of security camera issues out there in the world. If anybody needs help, please contact me. I'll ensure that we can stay up 24/7, 365 for security cameras. I feel there's a lot of fail rates. There's a lot of cocaine in the White House. All of a sudden, there's no cameras. If it was anthrax, what would happen? Would someone not be held liable that there was a deadly chemical inside?
It's true.
So
There's no cameras. That's It's an interesting It's an interesting little snippet you throw in there. The
I mean,
cameras to show it
there
have
was no cameras.
no footage of it.
Well, there's no cameras right by the what was the room that they were talking about? The oh man,
The
just
presidential
lost it.
library or something.
No,
like
no, it wasn't even that. It was the I can't remember what it was. It was somewhere more classified than like the library. It was like I don't know, some type of room where they'd like actually discuss shit. So it was like before you go in to discuss everything,
Phones in the
phones in the
container,
locker. Yeah.
I mean, it's still just the fact that there's no video, like no camera. I mean, just I don't know. It just all seems everything is just always something. There's always something happening that there's not been footage and this and this. So where I feel like there's some desensitization and some of this information that I'm taking in, like personally, because I'm like I hear the story, but I'm not up in awe because I know the world is just a ridiculous place. So when to me it just always feels like a distraction,
Right.
and that's kind of where I'm at with it. And then it might be the most jaded, ridiculous, absurd way of looking at it, but when I hear some things, I'm like, what's happening behind this right now? What's going on that someone's trying to paper push something else that no one else wants to happen? So they're gonna put out the story about cocaine and this and this and this, when the people in the power can get whatever they want when they want. I mean, that's not that hard to acquire. Like, so, it just seems distractive to me.
Right. And we're soon to
unfortunately.
be in a place where you're not going to be able to trust the pictures you see, the words you hear, the videos you watch.
Exactly.
Even if it does exist. So we're moving into this hyper reality that just got to sort of buckle up and hold on.
There's people walking in the store saying, "What's up? What up, guys?" We are.
Yeah,
we
we're
are
live
live.
right
Yes,
now.
sir. We are. You can.
Yeah. Right here. You
This
can,
camera, you can actually be seen in it. Where
yeah.
Tyrell?
Oh, right there we go.
Where Tyrell stand?
We sit here?
Well, you're more than welcome to stop by. Oh,
Are you guys using AI yet?
AI.
Artificial intelligence.
maybe.
Nice. Yeah, talking to the mic.
Yes, I use AI
Yeah.
Nice. What do you use it for?
to write things for school. Well, I don't use it right now because it's summer, but I did.
Hey,
Okay.
how'd it work out? Did you get good grades for it?
Yeah.
Dope. See, we were
It was just like a short story, so it was easy.
Yeah. But it's happening a lot. Colleges, everyone, at any level, and they're all using it. So they're changing the system now. So we're kind of seeing a shift, right? So we're talking AI and technology and all that stuff right now, and how people are using it for better or worse, whatever. But so how often were you posed in a situation where you felt like AI helped you through the whole situation? Like, is it all the time in school, or is it like, this I can do it, but the AI, I'm just gonna
I
head
only
it?
used it once. It's not
Oh,
that
yeah?
detailed.
Okay.
I had to write a short story about two married people going on a honeymoon.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
So,
So, did your teacher know that you used AI to do it?
no,
Did anyone know?
my friend did.
Okay, cool.
It was her idea. I
Dope.
used Snapchat AI.
There you go.
Snapchat AI. All right.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
gonna have to learn. Oh yeah, the My
'Cause the
AI
AI
guy.
bot- AI
All
bot,
right,
yeah.
dope. Yeah, I talked to him before. He didn't know what the brand was. I was pissed at him. Didn't talk to him again.
Yeah.
I just kept telling him what's native. He's like, I don't know. Tell me about it. And the next day, I'm like, what's the native brand? He's like, I don't know. Tell me about it. I'm like, I've told you yesterday, bro. You're supposed to download this. You're supposed to know so you can tell me tomorrow what it's
Right.
about.
Haven't you been watching my life?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Right. I'm in the phone all the time. Come on, man. Yeah. I was like, I asked the questions like, do you know who I am? Like, do you know what do you know about me? And it got all weird for a second. I was like, I'm cool on it. But like, yeah, was it effective? Did it feel like you got like everything you needed out of like because like most people use it for different reasons, right? So like, I'm not writing it for a paper per se, but
I feel like it was pretty good.
yeah.
I mean, it gave me my little essay. I copied and pasted it into my Google Doc, and I submitted it.
Hey. Okay.
And it
Good
went
for
pretty
you.
good.
All right. Well.
We switched the TV. I just saw this whole group of it. I was like, oh man. I forgot about
This is shit. Yeah, we're live at the levee, man. That's
Yeah, we
that's
are
the best
live.
part of all this stuff, dude.
We are live for sure.
Um,
Hey, appreciate you
Yeah,
guys coming in.
appreciate
Thank you.
you.
You're more than welcome to check out the store and step back and walk up to that 7-Up machine. You'll find some cool stuff there.
So yeah, bro. When when it comes to the movies, man, like when Monsters Inc. first came out, like I thought I was blown away by seeing like the hair on what's the big blue guy's name?
Scully.
Scully, yeah, good for you, bro.
then
You got
Mike-
kids.
I got
You're like,
three
I
kids.
still watch it, bro.
Yeah, it's
So,
in
yeah, so
rotation
it's-
still.
so when Scully's sitting there sleeping and his hair is like, it basically looks like the troll doll. It's like, whoa, bro. Like, I remember stopping and taking a moment to go, this is insane. Like how good this looks.
Yeah.
And it's gotten to the point now. Like I haven't seen the new Spider-Man, but I'm sure it's light years ahead of where it was before. But I did just see something in. I saw it on MKBHD's YouTube channel, right? He's a tech YouTuber that like he gets all the Apple products beforehand, but you know, in all the movies they always use green screens in the background, right? So if they're filming for what's that Game of Thrones, you know, they use the green screen in the back to give you the look of that they're out and, you know, wherever they are. But now there's an 8K screen that's probably 20 feet tall and maybe 40 feet wide, and it's curved. And so MKBHD did his last YouTube video where he sat in front of this big, like, you know, curved monitor, and behind him was only maybe like a 50-inch TV section of it was just cut out. And so that's where he did his intro. And it looked like his intro was at his house, right? And, you know, then you can pan away and see that he's in this big studio with this big green screen behind him or whatever. But the crazy thing is that they're not using the green screen anymore, because even the green screen, you know, you could see a little bit of a green hue on like Captain America's shield, you know, when you're doing these things, right? And like, so now they're at the point where they don't even need a green screen. They can actually put in the real footage behind it, and it does data tracking. So as you move, the background will move in such a way that it looks like you're just panning over, right?
Sure.
It's so crazy looking, and like this type of technology, bro, is going to be crazy to use for the future for movies, because you can get, especially if the actor's good at acting, like he's going to be able to really submerge himself into this scene instead of just being in front of a green screen and hoping that the shit looks good. Because like, you've ever seen the videos on YouTube where Captain America's doing the green screen work and it's all fake, where he's like shooting shit and nothing's coming out and like all this stuff. But like like artificial intelligence and technology is moving so rapidly, bro, and there's so many smart people on the back end that are willing to bet their life to say like, this is the next move. Like, we don't need green screens anymore. Green screens are such a cheap way to implement things, right? But now they're like, hey, let's just put the money together and make this big backdrop where we can submerge you into anywhere, like without having to do that second half of putting the green screen filter in there. But like I said, the fact that when I walk this way, the screen doesn't stay still. The screen will kind of move in just like a background, like the way the background would. You know what I mean? When you're really walking, it's absolutely insane, bro. So if you haven't seen it, MKBHD is the guy's YouTube channel. He does tech reviews on everything. He's been doing it since he was like 14 years old, bro. Like before the iPhone ever came out, and now he's at the point where he's like, they give him Tesla cars. They let him drive the Cybertruck. Like he's like driving all these things, like just to test them. Yeah. But the dude's interesting, man. But like when I saw that, it's just like, and they got 2 cameras too that do it, and which is the crazy part. So you can have 2 cameras, and even though they're doing 60 frames per second, that background image doesn't change because they're filtering. So this one's taking a picture, and then this one's being still, and then it's doing like this. So each one of them can have that background just kind of moved off in an angle that's perfect. It's absolutely insane, dude.
That's amazing.
You'll have to look at it to really understand.
I'm gonna check it out, because like that's the thing is like, we're sitting in this time where like you're like talking about stuff that I would have never even been able to like dream up. Like you're just coming, like it's just. And the thing is like, we're really just, you said it's going at exponential pace. Like technology is building on technology. It's like building on its own back. It's like
Right.
it's literally the base has been created, and now it's just working towards that. Like, who knows how big the pyramid or how big the thing's gonna get? Because like, at what point are they even gonna like? All right, we've gone too far. Can they turn it off? There's nothing like. That's why you said fear earlier. I guess we'll go back to that. But like, man, like, stuff like that is just cool, and the artistry behind everything we're doing. Like in general, like I mean, we've even messed around with the. Just the technology, like not even that long ago with the laptop when you had the phone and it would display
Crazy.
the image. Like literally, our phones can pretty much like project an image that isn't the angle of which the camera's sitting is not possible to catch it, but it puts the image right in front of you, so you could literally like unbox something over.
Yeah, so you can basically put your camera on the back of your computer,
Yeah.
so it's sitting like vertically like this, and it'll grab the horizontal image down here. So it's basically like holding your phone right over your hands, but it's sitting like this.
Yeah.
And so you can go live and just have it do this like a center stage. No, it was something else it was called. But you can literally do like tech reviews with just your computer, your phone sitting on the back of your computer.
Super cool. It's
Yeah.
so dope. And like stuff like that just blows my mind, and I'm here for it, and I'm here for how it develops, because we're like the infant spot, like we're at the very beginning, but here soon I think we're gonna start seeing some like transcendent technology, and I'm ready for it, man.
So
I'm ready for the
what's-
Tesla. I'm ready for the Tesla
One
to
of the-
be everywhere, man.
One of the
Like,
things on the movies that I think we're going to see really fast, the company already exists. It can reface an actor's whole facial gesture, especially their mouth and nose, and it'll allow them to translate, with a voiceover to any language. So
There
now you
are-
could watch Forrest Gump now,
Oh,
and it'll
yeah.
be in whatever language you want it to be. It'll be
And
Japanese.
his mouth will match the.
Yes, his mouth will match
That
the
is
words.
that is so huge, bro. Because it's unless the movie is completely fire, it's really hard for me to get in like a movie that has
like a kung fu
voiceovers.
movie. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
hard to follow if you got to read it, and any
especially if they
voiceover.
use the same voices, man. Like Netflix, like the Japanese movies that you see, like a lot of them they use the exact same voices for all the movies. So it gets really mundane where like you don't. It's hard to get tied into the movie because of it, man. Yeah, you're big into those movies, bro. What do you think about that stuff, man? When it comes to like the voiceover, like.
I like it to a degree. My thing is, it's like I don't really want to watch a movie I can't understand, but at the same time, I almost want to watch more so I can like train my brain to like, okay, now I know what he's saying. Put the subtitles up and stuff.
For
like that.
sure.
Like I like watching older movies. Like we used to have like Bruce Lee movies playing in the store and stuff like that. Like that's my go-to. I will watch those versus
Yeah, we need to
most
bring
of
that
this new
back.
stuff and stuff like Jackie Chan. I'll watch his movies, stuff like that. But yeah, no, Bruce Lee, like that time period of just action movies, karate, fighting, and stuff like that. Like that was the best. I don't really care about all this cool technology now. Like just the fight sequence and that alone, top tier for sure. And now it's just like I think we're too impressing ourselves. Like we were already at a level where it was super dope anyway. It didn't matter what they were saying, it didn't matter what they were doing. They were fighting and we were entertaining. We were in theater like, oh my God, dude just did that and he just went there and he fought a bunch of guys here and he's still standing. How? Like we were already entertained. We were already impressed. So now I feel like we're doing a little bit too much. I think we need to dial it back some. Like we start playing those movies again. We start making those types of movies again. Bro, you wanna stop theaters from dying? Start making that type of content again. Across the board. You want to get people to focus on something. The old school Bruce Lee movies, like that's the direction you should go. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of people would agree with me on that. No matter the generation, there was a reason people would stand in line to buy movie tickets. People aren't standing in line to buy movie tickets. Not now. Not this long.
Well, they
maybe
buy it
two.
online before they.
Yeah,
they don't have to worry about it
exactly.
anymore, so.
No one's standing in line.
Yeah.
No one's standing in line. It's on their phone. You just go up, scan, boom. I'm talking. You need to come here in person to buy the ticket. That's what needs to happen. We need to dial it back.
Tickets
We need
back.
to dial it back a little bit. I'm not saying take away the app. It's cool. It's
Yeah.
convenient. But make it so they have to come in person. Make it so they can purchase the app.
That's why the NFT started to come into play. So it started getting people. You had to be there.
You got to
get
be
the
there.
NFT in person or different. Like the technology, that's where it's a big part of it. So like you'll get an NFT with your ticket to a concert.
Right.
You'll get an NFT. You'll get something more. Get a T-shirt.
But you got to be in the
building.
building.
Get a poster. Like we talked about that. Like if they could do an incentive to get them to come in.
Exactly.
But I do think that they're probably making more money by just having you buy it there and show up with least resistance and less manpower they have to do.
For sure.
So
for sure.
so you buying the ticket online and going through that process, I mean, unfortunately, it eliminates jobs, but it makes them more money. So I don't see it going back to that unless there are incentives like the special poster board. Like when Sonic came out and I was like, yo, snag me that. And like,
that poster.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Sonic
so-
poster was dope.
Right,
It
right,
was
right.
dope. I didn't even see the first movie. I just saw the second one, and I was
Right.
Jim Carrey was like, "This is gonna be my last movie." I was like, "Oh, I gotta see it. I gotta see it." So
right. So like
but
that's the thing, but you gotta have an incentive.
give him an incentive. I'm not saying bribe us, but make it so that it's worth leaving the house because we can stream. We can stream now. We can watch stuff from home. The movie drops, and if you pay an extra $2 on your streaming service, you can watch it on your phone. Give them a reason to get off the couch. COVID gave everybody a reason to stay home. We were forced to stay home. We couldn't go nowhere, do whatever. Give them a reason to get off the couch. Make it make sense, and then it will transcend. It will bring that FOMO of going back to the movies back across the board, not just in LA, not just in Florida, not just in Ohio, like everywhere. We'll go back to it. And I'm not saying we're only going to go further with the technology, but make it so it makes sense. You can still buy it on your phone. You still come in person. You still get your whatever your rewards, your incentive is. So many people want something. Well, you're paying for this. You're paying for the app. You're paying to use the service and stuff. Give them something as, this is what you did. So I'm gonna reward you with this, and you get to enjoy the show.
I think
That's
it's great.
all I'm saying.
That's how VCon operated. You had to have a specialized NFT ticket to get
Okay,
in.
yeah.
So it's cool. There were special incentives to do that. You were the first one to be able to receive the video content the next day. There were also they had a music lab that they brought. That was like a trailer that like people were creating music. So you had access to their audio cuts first through the NFT sort of ticketing process. So I definitely see it as a future. I think that cryptocurrencies, they got really hyped up. There were a lot of stuff that wasn't like really legitimate. There were some NFT groups that weren't really as legitimate as the pricing that they were, but I don't think it's going to go away. I think that if brands and artists really figure out how to implement that at an affordable scale where you don't got to buy a Bitcoin to participate.
Right.
How do you buy an experience and how do you do it easily? I think people are going to have sort of the crypto wallets in a way they can handle that in the future. But it's definitely something that is still in process. And I think with its sort of downfall and AI sort of uptick, I don't know when that's going to land. I don't know if it's 2025, don't know if it's 2030, 2035, when NFT-based ticketing will be what Ticketmaster does.
I wanna just get into like just to piggyback off that because it's not gonna end. We're just gonna keep going further. Where people were talking about the the cards, the like baseball cards and basketball cards and stuff like that, the digital version of a moment of Michael Jordan dumping a basketball, LeBron shooting the shot like that. I want to see where that goes because that was a cool thing. We were talking about it for a couple months and it kind of just slowly went away. I didn't see anything else about it, but I want to see where that market goes, like how the trading aspect of it works, how you can get in, how you can, wiggle your way in without spending too much money. I would love to see how that transcends because I want to get into it. I can get involved in it.
Something like that, I would assume it, as long as the photographers, right, are the ones filming it, it would be theirs unless they're filming under NBA. So then it's the NBA's footage, right? So they would be the ones making the money off of that. But when it comes to the NFTs, bro, like I mean, Gary Vee said something and it really resonated with me. He was like, where's your deed to your house?
Where's my deed to my house?
Where's your deed?
I have a storage thing that I put all my important documents in whenever I get them. So but my deed specifically, it's
Okay.
sent me,
Probably stored at the county.
They stored at the
plus,
they stored at the
in your documents too. Like
Right, but what,
But I have a
what
copy.
he's saying is like how long until your deed is an NFT that's on your phone that you always have on you, right? That you never lose, that it'll always be in your wallet. You never have to go into the safety deposit box to try to find the thing.
Yeah, but yeah, but like that's the thing is like the physical aspect of it is like like for stuff like that. I just feel like if it's a personal property, I think the physical is I don't know, can that really fully be replaced? I know because people are gonna always want that physical because like there's always been that fear that my thing has been wiped, and I think that's the back of the mind with humans is like.
Yeah, I lose my phone, I lose everything.
Right, like because remember when we all first started getting there's like the wallets and crypto wallets and whatever, and you had to make sure you wrote on the piece of paper all the keywords, whatever. So like that's the thing. If you lose that piece of paper and like you save it on your phone, because most everyone probably did that as well. But like if you lose that note or you lose your phone or you lose your thing, they say write it down so you can get in your crypto wallet and get your money. Like you don't have to have your phone to access it. So like I think that there's something still to the physical aspect, but I do like the idea that live music and different industries go NFT with your ticket for that specific show. So if you see them in Cincinnati and you go and follow them to Columbus or whatever, you're getting something at those individual moments that no one else did, even if you didn't get it if you weren't in LA. But like
a lot of people look at those physical tickets as that, right?
True.
Like
Yeah.
something
Right.
that you can frame, put on the wall, possibly have.
Yeah, I like tickets. I mean, I take every show I put on, every concert I put on, I keep the poster board and I keep a ticket, and I just kind of put them together, whatever. But like, that's the thing is, at the end of the day, like that's just for my own this enjoyment. There's no like other than personal value to it. There's not like someone's out here running my concert from 2016.
You want to become a multi-billionaire? Don't worry about figuring out how to buy or sell NFTs. Figure out how to advertise NFTs for the people that do buy them. Think about that. Think about if you can create something that has a little hologram, right, that sits on your desk. Something that's like this, and then you know how like if the glass is set at a triangle, you can project onto here, and then it'll be a 3D image, right? Have you ever seen those?
No, I would have to see.
So basically, you can set your phone down with your camera up,
Okay.
and then if you take a triangle that's glass on both sides, it'll project the image onto one and then onto the other, and it makes it look 3D. I'll show it to you afterwards. But if you can create something like that,
amazing.
that's where the money's at, because then
it's like
you can,
Star Wars.
Well, it would just be like buying a TV, right, that has the right width and height to advertise NFT logos, and then be able to put that on your wall, and then advertise all of your tickets that you've all the concerts you've gone to, all the NFTs that you bought. It's one display for everything, right? Like that's the way that I would look at things. Like, don't try to become rich off of buying the NFTs. Figure out how people are going to display them, because as of right now, people just have them in their phones and they go, "Hey, look at this ticket that I got," and you're like, "Cool, bro."
Right.
There were some
True.
homes in
Are we
I
showing
believe
it off?
LA. It was a big mansion, but they had like NFT like ready TVs. They're using TVs that are like as high quality as can be, essentially, that sort of look like a picture frame.
Yeah, just vertically instead of wide.
Yeah, even at VCon they had a bunch of installations like that, art installations,
where you can buy the art right there off the,
and you can display it on your own TV. So it's like you could have your own collection of art.
Right.
But I think that's a tough market. I mean, the NFTs for like Bored Apes, like I think Justin Bieber, I read what he spent on his, like 1.2 to 1.3 million dollars. Now it has a value of less than 60,000.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I think it's, when it comes back to music and content, digital, what's so hard is that it's very hard to keep the value of an NFT, a digital product, because you can replicate a digital product.
For sure,
And-
especially when if you're buying from a company that's going to keep dropping more Bored Apes, right? Like all of a sudden, my Bored Ape with the pink hair isn't as popular because now they got a Bored Ape with green hair, they got a Bored Ape with orange hair. You know, they got
There's
all
a
these different
holographic
things.
version of mine now. What? And then all of a sudden you have to
Right.
get that one. That
This
one's the
one,
value.
the-
It's pretty much
This one's got
Pokemon cards.
lasers coming out of his eyes. I need
Yeah.
this one.
Because as Pokemon grew, and I think that was like when we were young, like when I was younger at least. So Pokemon was like all the rage, right? Everyone was on board. The different games, everyone was like the Game Boys. Everyone was playing it on the cards or the system. It was a whole thing, and I believe, and I've talked about this before, but with different conversation with the people at my age, we all kind of think that like as it went to different levels of Pokemon, that just instead of the original 150, 151, and it got more saturated, it pulled us away.
For sure.
Because you're just like, all right, man, like
That's what happens.
like I got all these cards, and you like I have the whole. I literally had all of them. I had.
Collected them all.
Yep. Shout out. Literally. Shout out Chad for the whole thing. But like that's the thing is like, it's
oversaturation.
Oversaturation, and then I feel like, all right, well, like now I have to restart my collection. But who cares about this guy? He's like
I don't know these players.
He's a like a watered down version of this guy, I guess. So like, and then you just kind of like, before you know it, we're like, all right, we're stepping aside. And then we got older, and then I started playing like Magic the Gathering, and like
I'm
transition.
waiting for that resurgence.
Yeah, it was fun. I've played it a very, very long time, but it was fun, man. That was a complicated game because it was way more to it. It wasn't about saturation because it wasn't about the individual Pokemon. There was so many different types of characters.
Is there skin on the game to have like a rare Magic the Gathering card that'll be worth as much as like a Pikachu?
I do think there's some very expensive.
You know what I mean? Because
high-grade
like Magic the Gathering.
Because they were rare. There were some rare cards.
Yeah, so Magic the Gathering came out before Pokemon, and I remember being a freshman in high school and seeing all these kids playing this shit in the middle of the hallways, and I'm like, what's happening? And then it happened with Pokemon. So it's like, all right, well, Pokemon got the resurgence. When's Magic the Gathering gonna happen?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I was Pokemon was like the first like card game that I was like, all right, like my neighbors were all playing, and so I was like, all right, I guess I'll jump on board. And then like when we discovered Magic, it was like the start of high school, and then kind of sports took over for me, and we're like in whatever playing base, but like that was the thing to do. And I know the cards were so rare, and the thing I did like about Magic, and I think to this day I really resonates with me, is an art. Like I think I like art because of Magic the Gathering's cards. I never said that on this podcast, but I do think
I never heard that at all.
I think I like art because of Magic the Gathering's actual cards.
See that
because all their cards were so forestry and like everything, and I liked elves because of them. Kind of like it was just like because the way they did their artistry on it was like so like kind of brutal, kind of metal-ish. Because I eventually got into the metal scene, and it was like natural for
There's
me
a big impact, I think, that Magic the Gathering. I never really played it. I also didn't really play Pokemon. I thought Pokemon Go was an interesting iteration of Pokemon. Like now it's like a virtual AR. I think that'll come back with the Vision Pros or these wearable glasses in the future.
Oh, yeah.
You'll start seeing like, I think there was a game called Egress or Ingress or something like that too that was like point-based location, like geohashing, and like a game. So I think that's like something that's going to happen. So Pokemon may have like new iterations like that. But going back to Magic the Gathering, that game really, I believe, like has like a secondary like market when it comes to currency or currency management in Magic the Gathering, because it was so important that one of the first exchanges, one that got either hacked or went bankrupt, but it was Mt. Gox. Like when Bitcoin first started, the first exchange before there was like a Binance or Crypto.com or wherever, Coinbase, anything like that, was this exchange. And it was actually short for Magic the Gathering Online Exchange. That was the first Bitcoin exchange for sure.
Oh, okay.
So the people that sort of like really pushed Bitcoin into quasi the mainstream, and this was probably, I don't know, 2013, 2014, 2015 timeframe, that they were like in this Magic the Gathering sort of mindset. They got this idea of probably a secondary world or a secondary credit system or a currency, and just adopted it. And I don't know if it like totally imploded on them or like there was fraud or what happened to their exchange, but I know that Magic had a big impact on Bitcoin's early days, big time.
Interesting.
I
I didn't
look
know.
into that.
Me too. Me too. I mean, this was. I mean, I was playing when I was probably like 13. So you know, and like in the how it has continued and that the fact that it is impacting on that level, like just the game. I mean, a game like, I mean, that's crazy. First off, and second off, like, I mean, it doesn't. I mean, doesn't really surprise me. I mean, the complexity of the game in general and how much goes into it because like. It was a very complex game, and that, I mean, it definitely it trumped Pokemon's complexity too, for sure. Like it was just definitely there was like different types of characters could be combined, which would make you put your decks two different versions. Not because Pokemon you would like, I went the red and the blue to do whatever. In Magic, it was like, all right, well these kind of like work together, so. You make these two different, whether it was like, let's say it was a beast and a beast and a magician's mage, whatever. You could do a beast mage deck and they would just work together because the mages now would essentially piggyback off of the beast, if you will, and like strength, worth, magic, and all these different complicated things. And you're like, the thought, and when you at that age time for me, I'm just like, oh, this is more complicated, more strategy, cool. And like I started thinking about it, but at the same time. Like I said, art, like, these cards were so cool. And every time I look at things, it was actually the Home Sweet Home one that actually reminds me the most of Magic the Gathering. That one, because the forest. Yeah. On all because I always had these elves decks, and they were these forests, and I was like, that's so cool. And I always wondered who made the image. It was just like I just wondered it, but we'd play, and like, it was fun. But I think that was a early contributor to like just me. Because it was just, we didn't play that long. Because like once I got into it, all of a sudden I started wrestling in high school and sports took over and there was no time for any of that. And then, but it was just, but for that small period, it was like influence enough for me to do the next and realize that there's that thought process out there that, because Pokemon was like, felt like 1 + 1 = 2. Where Magic was like, all right, well 2 × 3 = 6. But you can divide it and get back to 3. And like, there's a way to around this for the same equation.
A lot of
strategy, and I didn't even know what strategy really like at that point. You're just the education system isn't teaching you strategy on that front. So at that time, I was like, oh, that's strategy here, and I can beat them based on not because I have the strongest guy. I made this one deck when I was little, and they were all like ones, so they were really light on mana, is what they called it. So mana, like light on mana, so it was easy to get the character. I was like, all right, if I could just have a mass, I can just do that. I was like, see if they can win on that, and it worked. And I was like, okay, cool. They didn't see that coming, and it just stemmed from there. And like as a young dude that's like wanting to play music, I was like, all right, well there's strategy to music. So then I kind of I built on that.
You got to have passion about some things, and it hits at a young age. My kids, their card game right now is Exploding Kittens. I don't know if you guys have seen this.
I think I've seen it. Like, you can buy them at GameStop, right?
Right.
Something like that.
They went on Kickstarter. They were like one of the biggest like funded board games.
Oh,
it's not really a board game. It's a card game. But Exploding Kittens, it's like a slick little concept.
Okay.
Sort of like Old Maid, but like a new rehash
Target
of it. Yeah, they have it at Target now too. But, you know, it's teaching the kids a little bit of strategy. But they'd kick my butt at Magic or Pokemon or any of those games because I have no strategy when it comes to background understanding of playing them. So I'd be at their level. Then they'd figure out how to go for the mana first. Yeah. And my son would just rip me a new one and then talk trash all week.
That's funny, man.
Yeah.
So tell me about this private AI, man, before we get out of here.
Sure. So what I'm working on right now is hosting private AIs. I think that's going to be the future. I think you're going to see AIs that are going to be able to be stored in smaller and smaller locations where you can own or have some say on it. Mm-hmm. And that's on the personal side, but where we're focused on is enterprise. So like, how does an enterprise corporation have a private AI that is theirs? They know the data, they know it's secure, they know it's private, they know it's trained on their own data set that's important to them. Maybe it's feeding in real time. Maybe it's dark internet, meaning the whole internet doesn't have access to it, but it's their private company info. Mm-hmm. So how do they have that in one place and be able to utilize large language models? And at the same time, if you're a big player, you're not putting your information out there and just training and sharing with the world everything you're doing. So we feel that that is definitely the future. Privatized large language models hosted on sort of an owned platform where you know where everything's at.
So is that something that we could like hypothetically we could implement into like the robot inside the lab where it's only like whatever he's talking is only only the stuff that we want him to say. It's not like he's grabbing stuff from the internet, like where people are asking him questions and he's like, well, Joe Biden's this or Donald Trump's this. He's only like gonna talk about what we want him to talk about.
Certainly. I mean, we can definitely do things like that if you're attached to the cloud right now. You can do that with ChatGPT 4 and like some language tools. And they call that the constitution, sort of like what are you constituting your robot to be? What's its vibe? What's its persona? How does it answer certain things? How does it represent your brand? How do you create that persona? And then how do you allow that to interact with people? In the future, very soon, you're probably going to be able to utilize small computing power, decent sized computer that could run that, never touch the internet, but completely run an AI under your brand. And I think we're close to having that. It's probably implemented now in like research labs, but give it a few years and you're going to see it on like running on old smartphones.
No shit.
For lighting up a robot. I can see that happening.
That's incredible, man. Yeah, we need to update that lab for sure.
Yeah, I definitely want to see I just want to see the robot come to life in some form or fashion. And there's so many things in there that we're about to make some moves, and it's about to be cool. Ready for this. When by the time this Christmas time comes, we're gonna be rolling.
Let's create some AI rails. Let's ask the AI on how we can add AI to the robot and make it smart.
Dude, it'd be fire, bro. And anything that you can implement in here, like I'll pay you whatever I can to make it happen. This is something it's super special to us and to the people here in Newport, man. So whatever we can do to keep elevating, keep stepping up those stairs, bro, and keep this place interactive. That's what we're trying to do, man.
Yeah, well, I think that sets up like all the 4 points around the Roebling Bridge, right? We have the Bengals, we have the Reds, we have the Underground Railroad Museum. We have Newport on the Levee with you guys. We have our data center that's right on the other side.
Yeah, bro.
So hopefully we can lock down this city, grow it, do some cool things with the games coming in, get some traffic in here to really build your brand. I think you do some really cool stuff. Thank you for the shirt tonight.
Yeah,
I think
bro.
That's like sweet, and yeah, let's just keep building this out. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Absolutely,
for sure, man. So if
you.
anybody wants to join the group, the chat GPT for business and life, they just type that in, or they go to Chris Brock on Facebook. Like how do they get hold of you?
Search for ChatGPT for business and life on Facebook. ChatGPT for you is the URL on Facebook for it. We also have Christopher Brock. I have like a creator account, so you should be able to find me on search engines. I'm on LinkedIn occasionally. I guess I'm on Threads now.
There you
so
go.
You can be up on Threads, Instagram. So we're out there. This week we're going to be in Chicago in 2 days, presenting on Taming the Beast, taming this AI that's out there. Hopefully we're presenting, I believe, in front of about 150 investors, maybe 200.
That's incredible, bro.
So that'll be pretty cool. And then tomorrow, if we can win this ChatGPT-driven AI e-filing in court, it's going to be a huge day for me. I'm going to be super stoked. It's been something I've been fighting. And if this is a thing that we can use to better protect our rights as citizens and not pay lawyers and law firms to do things that we could do accurately, I'm super stoked. So hopefully you'll have me back again and we can talk about that when.
Dude, that's going to be huge, man. I can't wait to get the text message tomorrow that says we won. You know what I mean? Like, because that's obviously that's gonna be a flag in the ground, bro. That's a monumental moment that's gonna be embedded forever. And at that point, cat's out of the bag, and now people are gonna be able to realize that hey, I can use AI as my defense, right? Instead of lawyers are snakes, man. I've got a lawyer that I thought was a great lawyer, but I still haven't gotten a single penny off of all this assault that happened fucking 8 years ago, dude. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those things where it's like, if I would much rather go with an AI and not spend any money or little money than going with a lawyer and spending tens of thousands of dollars and then, saying, hey, you won.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like, but then the job's done for him.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah, having that strategy with AI, we'll see if it works.
yeah,
You know,
bro.
first in the United States. Let's see if we can do it, guys.
You gotta adapt or die, bro. All right, Chris, I appreciate you for being a part of the powwow, man. This is gonna wrap up another episode. Big AI, Tyrell, Yaman was in the studio today. He wasn't able to stop in. He's trying to get some work done for Pressure Fest on Friday. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. It's your boy Jay Banks, AI, the whole tribe, Tyrell.
Appreciate y'all.
Hey, we'll see you on the next episode of the powwow.
Later.
See you.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It was too late. Like, hit the play button on that.
Oh.